I, the Silver Superman, am promoted to omniscience and omnipotence. Chapter 76. Hearing Yi Rishan's words, Deadpool immediately raised a knife and killed. Boom. As soon as Deadpool passed, he was blasted more than 10 meters by the energy that he unconsciously burst out. Robert He has become a sentinel, the transformation is complete. Looking at the people in front of him, Robert was extremely scared, not knowing what these people wanted to do. I don't know what's going on. The drug addict drank a bottle of potion, inexplicably his stomach hurts, and he clenches his fists. So strong. What a powerful force in the body. Seeing this, Yi Rishan had to personally take action. A hot line of sight hit over. Robert sensed the danger. Robert raised his hand to block, and the result was a hot wow. Why are you killing me? I just stole a bottle of potion, great. Big deal, I'll pay you guys. Hearing this, Yi Rishan's eyes turned cold. This person's nature is not bad, but in the comics, this guy is a despicable villain, and Yi Rishan is not good at gambling. Do you want to be a good person again? Help Robert erase the void in his body and let him stay in this plane to protect the Earth. When I destroyed more than 700,000 people in Washington, I was no longer a good person, and thinking about this, I raised the sword of Superman and slashed at him. Robert was shocked. This sword is extraordinary. The instinctive reaction is to escape. Just touched this force. He is not familiar with it, and the strength shown by this line is not much weaker than him. He is not sure that he can fight. The sentinel is running wildly, forgetting that he can fly. Yi Rishan is chasing behind. A sprint punch knocks Robert tens of thousands of meters away, crashing through countless city high-rises. Very superhuman steel body, Clark vs. General Zod's immediate sense of sight, extremely shocking, strong impact effect. Robert fell heavily to the ground, coughed up a mouthful of blood, and was hard to die with a punch from Yi Rishan. He is a strong man. Robert was angry. I don't hit you, you're going to kill me, okay, you fight him. Robert seemed to be irritated by Yi Rishan, and then as if he was talking to someone, his whole body was constantly curled up on the ground, and he couldn't stop trembling, as if something in his body was about to rush out. Seeing this, Yi Rishan understood that it was the personality in the body, nothingness. Decided to wait for him to come out and beat him to death. After a while, Robert flew up and stood in the void, laughing maniacally. Ha 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 ha, stupid human give the body to me so quickly, since it is given to me, you will never come out, promise. That's all lying to you, haha, I won't die, you will stay in the darkness deep in your heart forever. Robert went crazy in the sky, communicating with Robert in his body, creating a dark space in his body to lock Robert in, ignoring Robert's cursing and blocking his voice. Robert looked at Yi Rishan condescendingly. Reptile, you are the one who just knocked me away. Very good, Bug, I'm giving you another chance, kneeling in front of me, offering you that. Why are you talking so much? You still can't fight. Seeing Yi Rishan interrupting his words, Robert flew down in anger. And kicked Yi Rishan. Like Leo Fei kicking, Yi Rishan took a step sideways to dodge, grabbed his neck, and lifted up. That's it. No one is stupid, what's going on? Wanama, why is this person so strong? Let me go, you weak human, I'm a sentinel, a sentry super. Yi Rishan's hot gaze shot Robert's head, and punched his body again, didn't it break? Robert endured severe pain, exerted his mental ability to try to control Yi Rishan, but found that Yi Rishan was safe and sound, and the person numbed Yi Rishan regardless of so much, and picked up the superhuman sword, cut it from the chest, split his body, saw that he was not healed, and could not feel the breath, so he was relieved. Robert, Sentinel, Pawn. The movement here has already attracted various organizations in the United States, and a large number of people quickly surrounded it, and Yi Rishan disappeared with the three of them. Yi Rishan led them to walk in the sparsely populated alley, thinking about where to go next, whether to return to the main universe or continue to play in other timelines. Well, Yi Rishan suddenly saw a person sneaky. There was an inexplicable force in his body. Yi Rishan took him from the air and grabbed him in his hand, asking, "What are you? What's going on with the weird power inside you?" Seeing that he was caught, the man was extremely panicked, and tried hard to break Yi Rishan's hand, but found that no matter how he knocked, it was useless, but Yi Rishan's hand slowly tightened. He panicked, and revealed all at once. Don't kill me, don't kill me, I say everything, I'm a vampire. Oh, vampires. Take me to your base, I want to see. Quote. Yi Rishan's hand was ready to strangle him again, and this sneaky person was afraid, and immediately nodded in agreement. Stop, who are you and why are you standing with vampires? Hulk. At this moment, a man with sunglasses and 2 katanas on his back walked out. Everyone looked over when they heard this, and Yi Rishan even called out. Blade Warrior. Who are you, how do you know my name, why are Hulks with you? The Avengers were not killed by you. Your words are too much, die. You. Yes. Quote. The Blade Warrior was ready to take out the knife. Deadpool was faster than him. A knife flew out. The Blade Warrior was nailed to the wall by Deadpool, spitting blood from his mouth, his heart pierced, his head tilted, dead. Blade Warrior, half human, half vampire, with great physical strength and long life force. Vampire weaknesses are silver, and ultraviolet light. Blade Warrior, because the biological mother was bitten by a vampire when she was pregnant with him, resulting in half of the vampire blood in the body, and the vampire's food needs to suck fresh human blood to maintain his life and ageless appearance, which is a bit like the zombies of the Washa, also known as the Celestial Empire. The big events in the Marvel world are also related to vampires, such as Hulk vs. Dracula, and Dracula vs. Apocalypse. It's just that Dracula, who is in this universe, actually changed his name to the vampire ancestor named Vanna in the comics. Give food for thought. Lead the way. This matter was just a small episode, and Yi Rishan then let the sneaky person continue to take away. After going around in circles, I walked a few hidden corners and soon came to a bar. Yi Rishan's group, led by that person, walked to the little brother who was guarding the door, not knowing what to say. Then that person let Yi Rishan a few people go. As for the Hulk, he came as a fat man, and Yi Rishan walked in. When they passed through security, they also wanted to confiscate Deadpool's double knives and guns, and Deadpool slashed them. Yi Rishan no longer tolerated. All arrived at the base, there was no need to lead the way, and he killed all the way. A feverish gaze pierced through countless houses and shot into the inside of the bar. The Hulk is even more rampage, and all the way to the east and west buildings are knocked by him, smashing hard, tearing people. Enemy attack has enemy attack. Quick, call the elders out. Some people also wanted to report the news, and were directly killed by Yi Rishan's throat with mental power. One by one, people fell like dominoes, and Deadpool kept pushing down and slaughtering. Hulk, that's not to mention, a slap down, another range damage, at least 3 dead. Soon, I went inside and came to the bar. Yi Rishan said slowly. Don't do it first, observe the situation. The people inside have not found that the outside is abnormal. I have to say that the bar soundproofing is really good. Those VIP luxury rooms are really soundproof. Yi Rishan took the 3 people to walk inside. The bar is full of neon, DJ songs, people dancing and undressing, others drinking and chatting, women with still grace and mature men discussing human reproduction projects, the joy of the wine pond meat forest, erosive food. The secretion of hormones breeds from time to time, and even there is a lot of strange smell in the air, and groups of men and women gather together. Yi Rishan found that the wine in it. There is a problem, it is all fresh human blood, a strong smell of blood, representing people, just died. This bar had 110 people, it seemed to be a small party, and by looking around 360 degrees without dead ends, he quickly discovered where Vanna was. Do it. Yi Rishan gave an order, and Deadpool and Hulk moved their hands. Roar. Ah. How are the Avengers here? Quote. Hulk is here, everyone run. Yi Rishan uses his psychic ability to kill in large swaths, only killing people who exit, and the dance floor platform in the middle allows Deadpool and Hulk to attack. As they walk, they kill, and the people inside are in a mess. They transform into vampires to show their fangs oozing red eyes, their nails become longer, and a pair of black wings grow on their backs. Someone attacked Yi Rishan. It was the one who came did not refuse. A punch exploded, the black hole devouring launched, swallowing everyone in front of him. It is quickly emptied after a few seconds. Deep in the bar. Several older vampire elders stood here and discussed. Guys, there is no time. The Avengers are coming in. Please raise your hand in favor of me awakening the ancestors. Yikes. Soon, 4 of the 5 people raised their hands, and the other one was helpless when he saw this, and this was the only way. The 5 came to the study and turned a book on the shelf. The sound of the mechanism sounded, the floor opened a staircase, 5 people went down silently, and the mechanism turned the floor and closed. Soon came to the deep underground cave mansion. There was a coffin, everyone nodded to each other, immediately cut their fingers, dripped a few drops of blood on the coffin, chanted together obscure ancient words to wake up the ancestors. The coffin soon reacted. Boom! The coffin kept shaking, and a loud boom. Coffin exploded, and inside lay a noble old man in a vampire-style costume. When I opened my eyes burst out, my cheeks were old and my face was full of shriveled. Their ancestors, Vanna. Vanna slowly got up and said, "What's the matter? Wake me up now. Have you found the woman with extreme yin and extreme cold? Great, I can finally regain my strength." Quote. Ancestor Kiyu, our vampire clan has encountered a strong enemy and has already invaded. We can't hold it, the people who come are very powerful, suspected to be Avengers. Vanna's eyes instantly became cold. So, you woke me up because you were too weak. Old ancestor forgives. If the descendants are not filial, ask the ancestors to punish. It's a punishment. Boom. An old man was kicked out by Vanna, hit the wall, spit out 2 mouthfuls of blood, and his breath languished, and he couldn't recover in a month. The other 4 shivered in fear. You guys are really weak. I didn't expect that hundreds of years later, my people are already so weak. Once upon a time, how beautiful and powerful our vampire empire was, not only had a processing plant for human body input, but also had countless foods every day. We also have our own experimental base, which cultivates all kinds of nutrition tanks for men, women, and children, and whoever wants to drink their blood can draw their blood. Whether it is a girl in the flower season or a strong young man, they all respond to their needs. Now, look at what you've done to decay the traditions of our vampire empire. A group of waste. Vanna became angrier and angrier the more he said. Thousands of years ago, I even beat the Egyptian mutant Apocalypse, although I didn't hit him, but he couldn't kill me, which is enough to show my strength. You guys, I am so disappointed, now there is not a single hairy boy who can't beat it. Boom. Yi Rishan walked in with the stars, Deadpool, and Hulk. It's not their fault that they can't beat me, because you can't beat me either. Lao Tzu, it's them, that's right, they. Quote. Shut up, a bunch of waste, let me clean them up. Vanna interrupted the group, and the useless descendants spoke and scolded angrily. Deadpool, you go deal with the other 5, Hulk you go too. The Hulk kills the 2, and Deadpool follows. Young man, now cats and dogs dare to bully my Western vampire family, you. Yi Rishan raised his hand and punched, and Vanna also threw a punch. Boom. Vanna was blasted apart, leaving bats behind, which then reunited and Vanna was revived. Vanna looked afraid. You go, why are you so powerful? I can't resist a punch with that pure strength. Yi Rishan ignored his words and said indifferently. Old thing, playing blood-sucking this set. Much weaker than my Eastern Zombie King General, playing blood-sucking I am your ancestor. Yi Rishan's hot gaze hit over, Vanna hurriedly dodged, Yi Rishan's hot line of sight caught up, Vanna still wanted to run, and then was shot through the hole and shot his head. A bunch of bats gather, and Vanna is resurrected again. Lao Tzu save me. When Vanna heard this, all 5 descendants were beaten out of the brain by Deadpool and Hulk and fell to the ground and died. Things, you can't kill me. When you become strong in the future, you will definitely slaughter this little beast. Later. You die here today. Don't think I don't know that every time you are resurrected, your body is weak once. If you really have an immortal body, it will not be this weak appearance. The origin in your body is simply not enough to resurrect you many times. Yi Rishan cut with his mental power space and cut Vanna's head, and Vanna screamed. Yi Rishan continued to beat Vanna, and Vanna was revived. When he came and went like this to kill Vanna for the 50th time, this old thing directly knelt down. Please, don't kill me, I won't suck blood again. Yi Rishan was silent, punched him into an atomic state, and Vanna was resurrected again. Yi Rishan frowned, and the superhuman sword swung out a mysterious blade that was sharp and slashed him to death again. Vanna, Pawn. Let's go back to the main universe. Deadpool nodded, Yi Rishan's mind moved, and the group disappeared. More than a month has passed since Yi Rishan disappeared from the main universe 616. United States. Everyone thought that Yi Rishan was hiding, and the people of New York even created a statue for Yi Rishan to commemorate his saving of New Yorkers. The White House was even more angry about this, but there was nothing it could do. Washington even treats New York as a parental feud, causing contradictions between the two cities, from the rich and powerful, down to the bottom beggars, hating each other. After Yi Rishan left, after Fury knew the news, he didn't dare to call Yi Rishan's attention, but he watched the crazy fight video of Yi Rishan and Deadpool, and the Hulk. Iron Man Tony, I don't know if it's the plot reason, finally went to join the ranks of the Avengers, but he can be described as not listening to the announcement. Just by name, the group forced away their friend Tony and was very angry. Team America wakes up, and after realizing Yi Rishan, a thug who destroys mankind, trains frantically only to capture him one day. New York City, at this time. There is a cosmic cube in the Stark building to drive the energy light pillar rushing upwards, a space wormhole appears in the sky, and a large number of robots stepping on gliders and mechanettes and monstrous behemoths come to New York through the wormhole. In the blink of an eye, aliens, the army of Zeteri can be seen everywhere, and the army is pressing. It seems that a lot has happened during this time and missed Thor 1. Team America and Natasha Hawkeye are unclogging the streets below, sweeping the various Zeta Swiss soldiers. A self-proclaimed god, dressed in a strange costume and laughing, holding a scepter inlaid with yellow mind gems, had just pushed Tony off the building and crashed to the ground. I am God, God of Earth. Oh yes, what kind of god are you? I have slaughtered countless gods. When Loki heard the prestige, he saw 4 people appear from a spatial crack. Looking at Yi Rishan in a blackened suit, the stars in a red levitation cloak, and Deadpool in the red and black uniform, and the big Hulk. Loki wondered, looking at these 4 people, except for the girl, the rest of him always felt a little familiar, as if he had seen it and couldn't remember who it was for a while. Who are you? Who just said that you slaughtered a lot of gods? How can the god you killed be comparable to my great Loki, the 9 realms medieval god? Deadpool stood up and said. It's me, Loki, Asgard, I know you. Loki frowned, and immediately became furious. Kneel, mortal, crawl at my feet. I am a noble god, you weak and humble Atrium people, lowly reptiles, that woman, come and lick my toes. Hearing this, Yi Rishan's face turned gloomy. Teleported to Loki's body, lifted his neck, took his scepter again, withdrew the storage room, and said with a grim face. Who did you just call over and lick your toes? Loki, you're pretty bold. Loki was frightened by Yi Rishan's speed and strength. He didn't blink his eyes, he felt that the other party appeared in front of him in an instant, and he didn't have time to react at all, as if he was standing there in the first place. You, who the hell are you? When did the Midgard have such a strong person? You, I remembered. You are 3 monsters who appeared in New York a month ago, as the Americans call you, you are their leading big brother Yi Rishan. Quote. Loki, stop, let go of my brother. A thunder hit in the sky. Before anyone arrived, the sound arrived first. Yi Rishan didn't need to look up to know who it was. Looking at the oncoming power of electricity, Yi Rishan picked up Loki to block. Avengers Thor's hammer can release up to 1 billion volts, 100,000 kilowatts. Thor was shocked, his eyes were full of anger, he dared to use his brother as a shield, and immediately used the hammer to control the power of electricity to slash to the side, and the ground instantly collapsed, forming a crack. Yi Rishan frowned, and teleported to the side to dodge. Looking up was a hot line of sight, and Thor used his hammer to summon the power of electricity to block it. Boom. Thor failed against the wave, standing on the right and never hitting Yi Rishan, really like that pig, with white socks. At this moment, a Tony wearing skeletal armor descended from the sky and walked towards Yi Rishan. Hey, Yi Rishan, long time no see, more than a month, where have you been? I miss you so much. My friend. Yi Rishan did not tease Tony, nodded at him. Tony continued. I developed an arm sensing device, which can make armor through the air, and I have also conquered nanotechnology, and I can build you 3,000 pairs in a few days, hee. Deadpool saw that Tony and Yi Rishan had a good relationship, so he didn't want to kill him, And when he first came, he still wanted to kill Tony. Thinking of this, Deadpool walked over. Hey, Tin Man, Tony Stark, I'm coming to kill you again. It's good that you're still alive. When Tony heard this, he looked at Deadpool, and instantly remembered the incident more than a month ago. The fear of being dominated by Deadpool, Rishin's strong and unspeakable steel body was slashed by him and his shoulder was bleeding. He didn't think his make-mark armor could hold Deadpool's knife, and immediately took a defensive stance and fired when Deadpool attacked. Deadpool looked at him happily, whistled at him, and teased Tony like a dog. Tony was like a big enemy. Hey, has anyone noticed me? You vulgar and lowly earthlings, my slaves, former prisoners, dare to treat your gods like this. I will. Shut up, pissed me off, little slut, I will kill you immediately. Earthling, you dare. Let go of my brother, Tin Man, who is he? Noisy. Rishin was impatient to hear it, and immediately used his psychic ability to invade Loki's thinking about using magic, sealed Loki's divine power, and threw him to the Hulk. Silly dog, smash him hard, don't beat him to death, I'll kill him in a while. Mortal. You. Roar. Loki was grabbed by the Hulk's feet, smashed hard, picked up his feet, and kept smashing into the concrete floor. Let go of my brother, you mortal. Thor raised Thor's hammer, about to make the current attack Rishin. Rishin controlled him with a mental power, took it in the air, did not move, and said calmly. Oh, I'm a mortal. Then you are now in the hands of mortals. Does it mean that you are not even as good as mortals? Quote. Portal was stunned into speechlessness, grabbed Rishin's wrist with both hands, and tried to break it open. Loki was grabbed by the Hulk in his hand and slammed it, and the angry Loki was furious, domineering, and his eyes were like torches. Enough. Quiet. Deathly silence. The Hulk stopped, seemingly startled by him. Rishin, Star, Deadpool, Thor, and Stark all looked over. I am a noble god, you lowly creatures, low-level carbon-based creatures who can't even live 100 in a lifetime. Before Loki finished speaking, he was thrown by the Hulk again, smashed on the ground fiercely, and grabbed it and swept over his head, when the rope dangled. The turning Loki was dizzy, and was smashed heavily to the ground, completely smashing him into stunning, only to feel that the bones of the whole body fell apart, lying on the ground, unable to anger again. Seeing this, Hulk was bored with himself, and turned back as he walked and said disdainfully. The god of weak explosion. When everyone heard this, they looked at Thor, then at Loki, and finally fixed their eyes on Thor, who was still trying to quietly get down from Rishin's hands. No matter how much Thor's arm muscles bulged, no matter how hard he tried to break Rishin's fingers, he was panting too hard. Seeing that everyone looked at themselves, and heard Hulk's words, looking at his brother who was lying on the ground and unable to return to heaven, he was instantly embarrassed. The brothers were dressed up by an earthling. Thor was a little embarrassed and said, I don't know him, and I'm not a god. Rishin nodded and threw Thor on the ground. I believe you, then I'll deal with him, you don't have an opinion, right? I didn't. Thor admitted, no way, he can't beat it. Brother, you can go with peace of mind, I will let my mother have another one. Rishin sucked Loki over, his eyes were like a prisoner. Loki, the opportunity is fleeting, you didn't cherish it well, you should have had the opportunity to live, you can die a little later, but now because of your death, the woman who dares to insult me, Odin can't save you. When Rishin finished saying this, thunder and thunderbolts came from the clear sky. Boom. Loki knew that it was his father who was inspecting the earth, and immediately became arrogant. Mortal, see it, my father is here, you lowly earthling, do you dare to kill me? If you don't kill me, the next time I come to earth I will kill you, let your women serve me, be my slaves, lick my toes, and take you again. Stop talking. Thor couldn't listen anymore, angrily scolding Loki. Rishin crushed Loki's neck. Loki straightened up and softened, and his voice stopped abruptly. No, brother. Thor rushed over and grabbed Loki's body, shaking it vigorously in an attempt to wake him up. He doesn't know what his mood is like now. Do you hate Rishin? Of course hate, absolute hate. But Loki's death, those words come out, don't talk about the earthlings, even he can't stand it. If it weren't for his identity and position, he would have wanted to kill Loki, and his mouth was really owed. Tony saw that Deadpool didn't beat himself for a long time, so he walked over and looked at Thor and said, "Dude, you are also a god. Your brother is more human than your brother. Your brother's mouth is too smelly. I think, in other words, no one can tolerate him." Deadpool also came over and said with a cruel look, "Hee, these two gods, I don't know how many have been slaughtered. The Sakari body of the Asgardians is especially happy to kill." Thor did not refute. "Now I am for the fish, he is for the knife trick. What situation he knows. Endure. Can't do it. This matter will be brought back to Loki's body. Ask the father Odin if there is any way to discuss again." Yi Rishan saw through Thor's mind and glanced at him approvingly. Finally, not a muscular Thor can use his brain to think. In a previous life novel, who wrote that Thor has no brains and will only use a hammer? Xingqian came over and took Yi Rishan's hand. She was also angry, and said softly, "Loki's mouth is too smelly. Yi, is this your woman, beautiful oriental girl, so beautiful?" Tony opened the mask armor, looked at the stars, and said to Yi Rishan. Deadpool also looked at Tony, and praised. "Tony, you are so good at this, you are not as smelly as Tony's mouth in other universes." Tony heard this, daring to be angry and looked at Deadpool. He still doesn't know Deadpool's position, but at present, it seems that he mixed with Yi Rishan. I don't know how the two came together, and they fought dead and alive before, by the way, and Hulk, these three monsters, oh no, two monsters came together. Glancing at Hulk, Yi Rishan looked at Xingqian and Tony and said, "Xingqian, don't be angry, I know he has a bad mouth, don't worry, I won't let him die so easily. Tony, help me contact Fury and Natasha, Hawkeye, Team America, wait until you finish cleaning up the aliens of Zidori's army, call them to your building, if they don't come, I will destroy S.H.I.E.L.D. After speaking, he looked at Thor. Although Tony was puzzled, he nodded and went to clean up the aliens. Thor shook Loki's body for a long time and did not react. This divine body should not have healed itself, and his brother was really dead. After hearing Yi Rishan's words, he didn't want to let Loki go, and immediately became furious. "My brother is dead, you don't want to let him go, he is at fault, he has already paid with his life, I apologize to you for him, I'm sorry." Yi Rishan was silent, his eyes staring at Thor darkly, while paying attention to the sky. A huge thunderous force slashed towards Yi Rishan in the sky, and at the same time a rainbow bridge light shone towards the bodies of Thor and Loki. Thor was overjoyed, knowing that it was his father's move. Swish! The golden aperture appeared, Yi came out of it, and a magical energy shot out, blocking this thunder power for Yi Rishan. Yi Rishan didn't care about Yi's appearance, he had long been aware of Odin and Yi's inspection. The reason for the two sides to make a move can also be guessed by Yi Rishan. Yi Rishan saw that Thor and Loki were about to be teleported away by Jotunheim, and immediately reached out and punched on the rainbow light pillar. Exclamation mark. The teleportation beam was burst and retracted, like hot water hurting, he did not dare to make a second attempt. Thor was shocked, how strong that force is he knows, to know that the Earth and Asgard are separated by a long distance, that is, the speed of light flight does not know the geometric light-year multiplier, the transmitted beam energy bursts, the rainbow bridge energy expands, even his aging father Odin at this time does not dare to resist. "Why are you so strong? The Earthlings want to take you too without my permission, who dares to disobey my will? She can't do it either." Yi Rishan was silent and dark, and said with a handsome expression. Yi didn't care that Yi Rishan pretended to step on her position, calmly said. "Long time no see, your strength is strong again." Yi Rishan nodded. "I'll deal with the two of them first. One will say." Quote. Yi Rishan used his mental power to control Thor from moving. "Let go of me, what are you going to do to my brother?" Thor roared angrily in place. Yi Rishan said indifferently. "Call again, I will even kill you together, do you believe it or not?" Thor was frightened and did not dare to come out, and shut up instantly. Yi Rishan faced Loki's corpse, sucked Deadpool's knife over, gouged out Loki's eyes with the knife, and cut off Loki's ears. When Thor saw it, endless sadness welled up in his heart, a painful, sad emotion surged in the bottom of his heart, and countless streams of water gathered under his eyes, flowing out of the corners of his eyes. Yi, even more frightened to see, secretly said. "My confidant, what have you experienced? I don't believe it's true that I Observe the future timeline a long time ago. Mordo also turned to Dormammu later, but he has just broken his belief now, and you appear in the cradle, making him break his thoughts. I don't believe you can teach Mordo to abandon evil and turn to good, and one day, he will become such a cruel murderer. Furuchi turned away, closed his eyes, and did not dare to face the truth he witnessed. Yi Rishin, since the Washington incident, he can no longer find the familiarity he once had from Yi Rishin, only strangeness. Is it really that those people have only wronged and slandered you once, and you have fallen into darkness? Ji Yi shed a tear of sadness. Yi Rishin cut off Loki's legs and arms again, and then burned through Loki's skull with hot sight, and after venting, he used the black hole to devour an ability, and used the black hole to clean up Loki and the filth on the ground. Loki, Pawn. Yi Rishin finally dissipated, in a good mood, looked at the tearful Thor and said, "Your brother is not your own brother, you still have a sister, go back and reunite with your sister, come and mess with me again, I will destroy you Asgard." Hearing this, Thor was heartbroken and full of doubts, sister. Not a brother. Why did he say so sure? How much he still didn't know. He didn't know what kind of expression he was looking on now. He got up and prepared to fly away. Slowly, "These aliens were found by your brother, you clean up the aliens before leaving, you don't want your brother to be scolded by the Earthlings after he dies." Hearing Yi Rishin's words, Thor thought about it, and then lost his soul and went to fight the aliens. Yi Rishin looked at the space-time wormhole opened by the cosmic Rubik's Cube, walked to the cosmic Rubik's Cube, pure physical damage, punched the output beam of the cosmic Rubik's Cube, forced it to close the wormhole, picked up the cosmic Rubik's Cube in his hand, put it into the storage room, and looked at Ji Yi. "Just talk here, I'm a little bit much, I'll help you kill Dormammu in a few days, remember what you promised." Ji Yi adjusted his mood, turned around and nodded. And smiled, "That's natural, I have always kept my promise, as long as you kill Dormammu and let him no longer disturb the safety of the Earth, I will give you the time gem." "Well then, what do you want to ask? Where did you go during this time? Your strength has increased again." "I crossed the timeline and went to other universes to bask in the sun. You know, I can become stronger when I bask in the sun. Swallowing a huge amount of sunlight every minute, and the next second I will always be 100 times stronger than the last second. Like an ocean of galaxy resources for me to absorb. My steel body is rapidly climbing in a soaring way. My growth is unlimited and unreasonable, and incredible angles are rapidly getting stronger. I break the temperature of the human body limiters, heat vision heating up all the time, my speed can fly out of the solar system in a second, gently blow a breath of freezing breath can extinguish the sun of nuclear fusion, and then blow the sun out of this multiverse with a little force, pull hundreds of suns to run around in the universe, and it is not a problem for me to punch multiple parallel universes." Quote. "Hehe, I believe you are a ghost." Gui looking at Yi Rishin with a strange face, but it has not been debunked. "Strange is about to leave the division, I am waiting for you to come and kill Dormammu." "Well, you go, I'll come to you when I'm done." When Ji Yi heard this, he drew a circle and left. Yi Rishin looked thoughtful. It seems that he has learned all the magic of Karma Taj, and he can also draw circles, as if he has not used it yet. Embarrassed, I couldn't help but touch my nose. Forget it, the skills are not pressing, what only learn a specialized mastery, in my case is not suitable, a strong person will only a little means how can it work? You make Superman only fly or extreme speed, or super defense to try. Unilateral capacity. The Flash, I feel like you're saying I'm weak, but I don't have proof. Hulk, it's comfortable to be offended and be a dog, at least I don't know. Without the space wormhole, Tony should not carry a nuclear bomb adventure. Yi Rishin brought Deadpool to Tony Mansion. The room is still the same as the original, but the laboratory has expanded a lot. Yi Rishin turned Hulk back into Banner, and this guy followed him for a day or two without eating. Calculating the time, from crossing the timeline to kill Professor X and Magneto, to the Egyptian apocalypse and the origin Earth, it was only a day or two in total, but I didn't expect the main universe to be about a month in the past. It's hard to calculate the timeline. Mr. Yi, long time no see. Jarvis's voice sounded. Yi Rishin nodded, looking at the yellow data blurry avatar on the display screen in the void. Jarvis, long time no see, think I didn't Mr. Yi, I am an advanced artificial intelligence created by Mr. Tony. Your words have stopped me. I don't know. Hee, it's really interesting. This is artificial intelligence. Xingqian smiled next to him and closed his mouth. This Jarvis is really funny. Deadpool and Banner went to Tony's luxurious private wine cabinet to get wine and drink, and Yi Rishan specially instructed Banner to eat something and replenish his strength. Looking at Banner Bear, wearing only a big pants, Yi Rishan used his idealistic ability to present a set of extremely elongated and stretchable combat clothing, the same as his own superhuman clothing. Cold and high temperature resistance, impact resistance, wear resistance, consumption resistant products. As my dog, how can there be no good battle suit? Immediately took out Loki's scepter and the cosmic Rubik's Cube, buttoned out the gem and crushed the cosmic Rubik's Cube in the palm of his hand. Boom. The invisible fluctuations of the gemstones spread out, and Yi Rishan's biological stance immediately annihilated this fluctuation, preventing it from causing the slightest harm to the people or things around them. Yi Rishan's brows frowned slightly. The stars were close to Yi Rishan. The levitation cloak was put away, turned into a rubber band and tied on the head by the stars. This thing is quite heavy. Take two at once. Okay, it can hold up. In the original work, the single cosmic level Gu Yi, Doctor Strange, etc. can pick up gems with one hand, and it is very reasonable to pick up their own planetary poles. Coupled with the Ox Charm and Doomday ability, the strength index is beyond the standard, and the power is infinite. Yi Rishan is not prepared to have the Infinity Gauntlet. That thing has a high price and low income. It is better to get it on himself, fuse the Infinity Gems into his own ability into one, enhance his attributes, modify the setting, and break away from the rules of the universe. He took out the plot gem again, extracted the ability, and set it in his body. Now with idealism and plot gems, he is in an absolute advantage, and he can be regarded as one of Marvel's strongest hang-ups. 6 gems, have got 2, the rest of the time gem, go and get it back another day. The power gem is estimated to have been obtained by Thanos. The Shandar star is dead. The reality gem is still hidden somewhere on the earth. The soul gem is in the Warmir star. Sacrifice your lover. The rules, I will not break it. I will only try to distort it. Think of this, stop thinking about it, change into home short sleeves, sit comfortably on the sofa and watch real-time reports. New York City is full of aliens, superheroes are fighting. Now that there is no Hulk, but there is still Thor participating in the war, Yi Rishan estimates that this group of people should be able to fight. Rishan, open your mouth and eat a piece of watermelon. Xingqian took a piece of watermelon and fed it to Yi Rishan, and Yi Rishan opened his mouth and bit down. Yi Rishan thought quietly, waiting for Tony and them to come over. He didn't have time to deal with Hydra. This group of mice in the secret was also annoying. Let the revenge team clean them up. Well, Yi Rishan turned his head to look at a certain place. Supervision activated. The distant scene appeared in front of him. The corners of his mouth turned up. I don't look for you. You come to me, you two old things. In the evening, the sun was setting. And in a deserted place 30 kilometers from New York. A man had just finished a day of flying acrobatics, a job that made him tired, and was riding his beloved little motorcycle, which would never jam on the way home. The man's name is Johnny Blazer, an arena performance acrobat. His father assisted him to cooperate with his performance. Father and son with superb motorcycle driving skills and superb psychological quality to perform one exciting shock scene after another, one countless audiences and fans sought after. However, such a young man who should have been excellent and promising, because of the arrival of a demon, changed his life. His father suffered from cancer. His life was not long in coming, and he was found by the devil to make a deal to save his father. The price was to sell his soul, who expected that bizarre things happened the next day, and his father eventually died. His current mood is very troubled and sad. Johnny was riding a motorcycle on the road and was blocked by an old man with a gentleman's crutch in front of him. The old man's face was full of vicissitudes and glory years, but the magnetic field aura emanating from his body was extremely uncomfortable. Because, it is the demon from hell, Mephisto. The old man elegantly took off his hat, raised his head and said to Johnny. Johnny, long time no see. Johnny braked the car, looked at the familiar person in front of him with emotion, and roared angrily. Mephisto, you hellish demon, you killed my father, you fool. Mephisto shook his head calmly, and said sinisterly. Johnny, don't be so angry. I didn't lie to you. You sold my soul to me. I cured your father's cancer. We signed a contract. The contract was reached. Your father died the next day. I can't protect your father for a lifetime. Your father walked peacefully, didn't he? Before you died, you worked together again to complete the grand performance of the creation act. He grew up and died with you with gratification. We should bless him. You still dare to say that after being cured that day, the next day in what should have been a safe and perfect performance acrobatic but an abnormal accidental death, you still dare to say that you did not move. You are a demon. I should not believe that demons will be friendly to humans. You murderous executioner, violent, shameless and insidious and cunning demon king, Mephisto. I will kill you and avenge my father. Johnny's angry eyes were red, his eyes were full of sadness and anger, and then he turned his grief and anger into strength, released the handbrake, and accelerated sharply towards Mephisto. Johnny, don't be so angry. I chose you a long time ago. You are a very good young man. I secretly protected you for many years. You don't really think that you have the favor of Lady Luck. Every time you perform, it will be difficult to die, right? Don't be silly, Johnny. Mephisto looked at him calmly, but unfortunately it was too late to know. Humans and demons are destined to be good and evil. This silly boy actually believes me. If it weren't for a little tricks the next day, his father would really be on patrol perfectly. Very good. Your current mood is very much in line with what I want, and the evil spirit night fit. Mephisto used a force on his finger and pointed at Johnny, avoiding Johnny's impact. Johnny crashed into the air, looking at the demon Mephisto beaten out of something that didn't know what entered his body. He didn't have time to think about it. His body felt like he was going to release some devil, and he kept roaring and shouting, wanting to break out of the cage and break free of the shackles Johnny felt. A powerful force and a blazing flame in his heart. The flames were burning his body and flesh and blood, and the extreme pain and burning made him lose his mind. Ah! Mephisto smiled grimly beside him, watching Johnny's whole body burn out in hellfire. Soon, Johnny's head turned into a skull, and the fiery red flame. Evil Night on his head was officially online. The Harley motorcycle in the crotches also in flames, showing off at Ku Feng. Mephisto was very satisfied when he saw this. Johnny, let's make a deal. What deal? The first one, help me kill my stupid son witch heart demon and the 3 wastes he brought from hell. Second, I feel that the Superman Yi Rishin in New York has appeared. You help me ask him out. Of course, if you can judge him and kill him with the eye of repentance, it can be regarded as eliminating harm for the people. Why don't you do it yourself? Dad beats his son, hee hee. It's really a father's filial piety. What's the benefit of helping you and me? Listen, Johnny, my son betrayed me and tried to take my reign over hell. As for Yi Rishin, it was only incidental. He ruined more than 700,000 people in Washington. Shouldn't you go to sanction him? Let him repent of his sins all his life. The good thing for you is that I take back your hellfire, and you take back your soul. This, well, in a word. In a word. Johnny rode away on a motorcycle, intending to solve the witch heart demon and the 3 calves and horses first, and then go to find Yi Rishin. Looking at Johnny with sparks and lightning all the way, Mephisto was very satisfied, and sure enough, he didn't choose the wrong person. In the past era, there were always some people who could not perfectly fit the hellfire, resulting in a transformation that could not withstand the flames. Silly son, dare to covet the throne of the father and king, go and die. Mephisto was hidden. As everyone knows, all this is seen by Yi Rishin. Tony Mansion. Deadpool and Banner are eating and drinking. Ethan moved out a month ago. He said that the world is too dangerous, left Tony. Tony saw that the retention was ineffective, let him go, and paid money every month to take care of his food, clothing, housing and transportation. Jarvis gave Yi Rishin a mobile phone, saying that it was ordered by Tony, and there was a phone to contact, and Yi Rishin did not refuse, saying that he had not played with his mobile phone for a long time. It was during the time when Yi Rishin and the stars fed each other and watched TV. In the evening, an hour later. Towards night, the Avengers led by Fury finally appeared. After everyone finished the battle, they were told that someone wanted to see them, otherwise they would destroy S.H.I.E.L.D. Fury naturally did not dare to refuse. He fully believed that the terrifying man had this strength, not to mention that it had now become 3. Natasha didn't want to come directly, That man was too terrible, but if he didn't go, his home would be gone. Natasha was angry and cold. The American team just woke up, and he had already seen the relevant information about the deeds and videos of this American devil, and he wanted to see them. Hawkeye saw that everyone had expressed it, and the other party named and followed. As soon as everyone came in, saw Yi Rishan, and went straight to him, Tony complained. Yi, don't you know, that group of politicians is really bad, they actually want to drop a nuclear bomb and kill us and aliens together. If it weren't for the appearance of two people at the critical moment, we wouldn't be able to hold New York. Yi Rishan looked at everyone, all of them were familiar people in his previous life, and pointed to the sofa. Sit. The name of the man, the shadow of the tree. Natasha saw Yi Rishan's face, her body couldn't stop trembling, and she collapsed, but fortunately Hawkeye supported her. Team America looked at Yi Rishan's face full of curiosity, his strong body and burly muscles were no different from themselves. Fury looked at Deadpool and Banner, as well as Yi Rishan's mixed feelings, and the three of them finally came together, and they all obeyed Yi Rishan. The Avenger is still too weak. Thinking of this, he grabbed the BB machine in his pocket. Since the accident he has always carried this call machine with him, in case of emergency, at least to inform him before he dies. No one blames him for not fighting aliens to save New York. Yi Rishan and the United States of America they all know, so no one asks, it would be good if he didn't break the law and endanger New York now. Nuclear bomb, how did you solve it in the end? Yi Rishan asked. Everyone sat down one by one, and saw that Tony and Yi Rishan were chatting without disturbing, intending to wait for Yi Rishan to tell him the reason for calling them. Tony picked up a bottle of wine and took a sip. Originally, we couldn't fight it, there were too many alien armies, just the huge battleship swimming like a fish was difficult for us to deal with, and the hammer god who released thunder and lightning could not save New York from a large-scale disaster. And finally a red-skinned giant with the same length as the Hulk appeared. Hulk, he called himself Red Hulk. It was General Ross, and there was a female monster with an eagle body and a sharp mouth. It was his daughter, Betty, self-proclaimed Eagle Banshee. So, at the critical moment, they made a move and turned the tide of the battle. The nuclear bomb was gone. Tony shook his head and looked at Fury angrily. Yes. No. In the end, the nuclear bomb was still launched. It was I who let Jarvis control 6 unmanned armor, and carried the thruster on the sole of his feet to fly the nuclear bomb into outer space and explode. Quote. Oh. Yi Rishan became solemn, listening to Tony's description. He didn't care about the nuclear bomb, and the following words were particularly noteworthy. What happened to Hawk Banshee, Betty, Red Hulk, and Ross? Comics happened in the movie universe, and I don't know what will happen in the future. Yi Rishan nodded and said. I see. Fury couldn't help but ask. Mr. Yi, did you see a scepter and a blue Rubik's Cube? Yi Rishan glanced at him. I put that thing away. You can't protect it, do you want to rob it? Hearing this, Fury did not dare to come out. Team America couldn't help it. I heard others say that you were wronged about Washington. Originally I sympathized with you. After all, you killed more than 700,000 people, but now, you are so unreasonable, you coward. Yi Rishan's expression was gloomy, and he instantly appeared in front of Team Rogers, grabbed his chest clothes, lifted them up, and everyone was in a trance. Rogers, a person can be ignorant, but not an idiot. Do you know the origin of the Infinity Stones? You dare to rob me. In addition, I took this thing to protect you and the Earth in disguise. Why do you always complain so much to me? If you provoke labor and capital, not to mention the destruction of the Earth, there is a debt and a master, I will really destroy your America. Yi Rishan's eyes were red, and it seemed that he was about to gush out a hot sight that melted everything with high temperature. Hearing this, except for Tony, everyone's faces changed greatly. Team America is absolutely nothing at the core of the Avengers. Natasha does not dare to intercede, she is too afraid of Yi Rishan. Fury was hesitating, and he wasn't sure he could ask for it. Only Hawkeye stood up and spoke. Mr. Yi, don't be angry, Captain, he didn't mean that. Rogers tried hard to break Yi Rishan's hand. Even if he injected the super serum, he couldn't break that hand. Rogers blushed and panted, smiling bitterly in his heart. This difference in strength was too great. Just when he thought he would die, he didn't understand that Yi Rishan let him go again. He didn't think it was Hawkeye's persuasion to let him go. Yi Rishan said indifferently. The opportunity is fleeting. I will give you a chance. We are also meeting for the first time. Rogers, don't be so reckless in the future. I appreciate your heavy feelings for Bucky, but I can't agree with your values, and if you hit me again, you will definitely die, understand? After speaking, put down Rogers. Rogers nodded with difficulty, his face flushed due to his poor breathing, and his blood flowed extremely fast. Thank you, Mr. Yi. Hawkeye said respectfully. Yi Rishan nodded, returned to their original positions, everyone sat down again. Natasha and Fury's eyes looked at the American team, as if to say, are you okay? Rogers responded with a look in his eyes, suggesting that it was okay and that it would be fine to rest. Yi Rishan sat down and looked at everyone calmly. Tony continued to drink, and reached out to call Deadpool over. Deadpool. Is that the man in a red and black uniform carrying two double knives? Has an immortal body, and a perverted self-healing ability, and can also teleport. Everyone secretly noted down this name, and at the same time looked at Yi Rishan with a curious face, not knowing what to call him and me to come over. Deadpool's ability to do things scares and terrified them. None of them dared to underestimate and ignore him, although this person may not be able to speak brains. Yi Rishan, why call me? I'm still eating. Just made an appointment with two big wave girls, ready to go out for high. For Deadpool's crookedness, Yi Rishan stopped him. Be serious, Deadpool. I called you here to let you know about Marvel's history and get to know them. If you don't have to, don't kill them. Earth is the center of Marvel. New York and Avengers are the core. This place is out of our control, very unfriendly to my plan. Quote. Marvel. Don't kill us. Earth is the center of Marvel. New York and the Avengers, we are more central. I don't understand, but our intuition tells us that we will know the important news next. Fury, Tony, Rogers, Natasha, Hawkeye, etc., all paid attention and listened. Yi Rishan said to let Deadpool not kill us, and the Avengers did not refute at all, because what he said was true, and none of them could beat Deadpool's skills. When Deadpool heard Yi Rishan's words, he frowned. Oh, well, alas, it seems that the Avengers of this universe cannot be slaughtered. I feel sorry for my knife. The Avengers couldn't help but shake their bodies. Wanama, this feeling of life and death being held in their hands was really uncomfortable, although they didn't put the knife on their necks, but why did they always feel like sitting on pins and needles? With Deadpool's consent, seeing that he was unhappy, how to say that he was also his subordinate, Yi Rishan comforted. It's okay, if they are restless one day and make trouble, it is not too late for you to slaughter. It is really not possible. You can design to frame them, plant and frame them, will it? Isn't that justified? Quote. Everyone is going to be scared and crying. Do you want to be so uncomfortable? Why do you want to add to the crime? Slanderous in front of us. Can you two really sleep and be safe? You guys are really, go. When Deadpool heard this, he smiled and took off his mask. Not bad. After speaking, he ran to sit down next to Natasha, squeezed Hawkeye away, and fished oil on Natasha. Natasha wanted to resist, and thought of Yi Rishan's words, stunned and did not dare to move again, for fear of finding a reason for Deadpool to destroy them, and let Deadpool do whatever he wanted. Just when Hawkeye and Team America couldn't help but teach Deadpool a lesson, seeing that Deadpool just put his arm around Natasha's waist, he endured it, just a waist, and could accept it. Yi Rishan frowned. Deadpool is a little too much. What is this? Fighting for yourself. Immediately said angrily. Deadpool, be serious, don't make trouble there, sit next to the empty seat. Natasha, I'm sorry, I'm not disciplined. Quote. Deadpool saw that Yi Rishan was angry and couldn't help it, so he didn't tease Natasha. Tony sat freely, pouring a sip of burning liquor and sighing. He still had Yi Rishan's high prestige and put Deadpool in order. Natasha glanced at Yi Rishan gratefully, and suddenly found that he was not so afraid, and apologized for Yi Rishan's behavior for her subordinates. She was angry for a while, and whispered. Thank you. Yi Rishan nodded, indicating that it was okay. Deadpool sat down, and everyone looked at Yi Rishan. Yi Rishan saw everyone looking at him and explained for everyone. Let's get to know each other again. My name is Yi Rishan, and this woman next to me is my named Xingqian. His name is Deadpool. Yi Rishan pointed to the stars and looked at Deadpool. Deadpool ran to get some food over to the table, and everyone ate together, eating and talking, bread, pizza, drinks and so on. Everyone nodded and waited for the next speech. Yi Rishan continued. We are from another universe, because your planet is special and often strange events and alien wars occur, so we come here to make a profit from it. Both sides take what they need, you protect the earth and mankind, I will help you destroy monsters and obtain treasures. I accepted the mind gem on the infinity scepter and the space gem in the cosmic cube, understand? Quote. Although Fury is unwilling, that gemstone is a good thing, the energy is endless, inexhaustible. It is extremely important for the development of weapons and technology. But due to Yi Rishan's strength, he could only compromise. Team America and Natasha, Hawkeye expressed understanding and could each take what they needed. Tony spoke. So, you and Deadpool, Banner were gone more than a month ago. Did you go to your own universe? Yi Rishan nodded. Yes, so to speak. Fury spoke. What about Banner? The Hulk is from our universe. As soon as these words came out, they attracted the attention of Tony, Rogers, Natasha, and Hawkeye. Relatively more than Yi Rishan, they traveled through the universe. They wanted to know what was going on with the Hulk. Although the Hulk was uncontrolled but could not deny that he was powerful, and now that the Hulk was adopted by Yi Rishan as a dog, they lost a general. Yi Rishan glanced at Fury. Fury was terrified, he was really scared by Yi Rishan. Yi Rishan explained. Hulk and Banner are two souls, you know. We know that we have studied his blood, and through the instrument scanning his body, there is indeed another soul living in his body, namely the Hulk. Yes, Banner is one and two souls. The origin of the Hulk is extremely special and powerful. Its owner chose Banner as a carrier to lodge, and when the Hulk grows up, he will take Banner to devour the Hulk and become the owner of that strong body. Hearing this, everyone was taken aback. No one doubted the truth of what Yi Rishan said. He was so strong, there was no need to play with himself. Yi Rishan continued. I capture me as a dog now, it can be regarded as saving you and him in disguise. Hulk, you are out of control, hurting the innocent is huge. In my hands, unless it is my enemy, he will not harm humans. Banner's parents died, and his girlfriend and father-in-law all turned into Hulk-like monsters. Don't you think it's strange? As soon as everyone heard it, what they said was that Hulk turned into a loss of reason, and if he didn't make his own people hurt, and no relatives were alive, he would be taken away by Yi Rishan. Hearing the mention of Banner's women Betty and Ross, everyone had an epiphany. So it is true that Banner's own fate and the people around him died inexplicably and were involved in scientific experiments, and the family was destroyed by gamma rays. Now that something happened to Banner, they immediately inexplicably turned into non-human monsters. General Ross and Betty, they have all met. What happened in the middle month to make them like this? Yi Rishan continued to speak. They should be experimental subjects transformed by the people of the evil organization. Betty is an eagle banshee, and Ross is a red Hulk. You don't have to worry about these two people. I will personally clean up, whether to kill or stay, depending on whether they have autonomous consciousness or endanger the earth, otherwise I will destroy them. Hearing Yi Rishan's plan, everyone glanced at each other. It seems that it can only be like this. It's not that they don't want to incorporate the Eagle Banshee and the Red Hulk into S.H.I.E.L.D., mainly because the Eagle Banshee is too non-human, and it doesn't look like a superhero. Hulk at least has a human head and black hair facial features, which is nothing more than a little larger and acceptable. Betty is different, the Eagle she-male, the Eagle beak monster face, her father Red Hulk is acceptable, but his father and daughter will definitely not separate, so we can't recruit the Avengers. Yi Rishan continued. This thing has to start from Africa, a country called Wakanda. Wakanda was established 2.5 million years ago. A vibranium meteorite fell on the East African continent. Since then the energy of vibranium has guided the animals and plants here, evolving and growing in a unique way. After taking it can increase physical energy, speed, strength, agility and other attributes, called heart-shaped grass, just like the US team injected super serum, has the effect of strengthening the limits of the human body. Ideographic period. After speaking, he pointed to the US team. Everyone understood in seconds. Strengthen the limits of the human body. Isn't there a list in front of you? Yi Rishan continued. About 10,000 years ago, Africans began to settle here, and in the War of the Five Major Tribes, the first Black Panther was born. He united the forces of the tribes, established the world's first civilization, Wakanda, and began to study the mysterious power of vibranium. In order to ensure that vibranium does not flow out, Wakanda has a strong isolationist color, and it does not listen to the outside of the window, but technology have been able to rely on vibranium to make great progress. Their country's technology is at least 150 to 400 years ahead of the world, and there is also a lot of vibranium. I think everyone here understands what vibranium is, right? Ideographic period. After Yi Rishan finished speaking, he touched Xingqian's hand and took out the sherry wine from the storage room to drink. Yi Rishan turned into wine out of thin air. Everyone was not strange, more concerned about the vibranium. He said, vibranium they know too well, the hardest metal known in the universe, used to create weapons defense. Is the best American team's shield is mixed with one of them, is made of Edmond alloy and vibranium and the hardest metal on Earth. The shield of the American team is the only one in the world, with the effect of absorbing thermal energy, kinetic energy and release. The appearance is not only extremely hard, but also can bounce back when thrown, automatic tracking, contrary to physics, extremely unscientific. Shield and Tony even want to use vibranium to build aircraft carriers, create combat suits for the Avengers, and bone armor. Their eyes are full of desire. Even Team America and Natasha, and Hawkeye are moved. The value of vibranium is extremely valuable on Earth. It goes without saying, especially the most special thing is their kind of organization personnel who defend the Earth and fight with aliens, how to guard the Earth without good equipment. Yi Rishan looked at the desire in their eyes and chuckled. Give me a calm down, Tony, I don't eat and drink in vain with you, I will help you win vibranium, change my food, clothing, housing and transportation, how? Tony nodded, and you're welcome, this is only a few bucks. Yi Rishan, Star, Deadpool, Banner, at most 4 people, and 4 more can afford to raise. Fury was anxious, wanted to open his mouth but did not dare. Hawkeye saw the second understanding. Mr. Yi, then we shield cover up for you all the traces after each shot. After all, you just said, you need to appear in New York and on Earth, because the Washington incident is inevitable. I know that you are not afraid of them. Quote. But it is useless to kill them, people are fearful, words are dense. So we deal with the shaping of heroes of people's relations in the surrounding society for you, and the malicious criticism of that group of politicians, and at the same time, We Shield uses the powerful technology of the Sky Eye satellite to secretly pay attention to the global movement similar to the appearance of treasures of Infinity Stones. Once there are suspicious events and news to notify you as soon as possible, the treasures will also help you to win. Do your part. How do you see it? After saying this, Hawkeye looked at Yi Rishan expectantly. Fury and Natasha couldn't help but praise Hawkeye Barton in their hearts. Lying groove, this is said round and lubricated, and suddenly found that the shield position was given a low level to Hawkeye. Do you want to transfer him to engage in letters? Tony and the American team also glanced at Hawkeye with admiration, daring to ask his brother where his education was, and actually said such lofty remarks, which is actually a model for my generation, and should be set by example. Deadpool is eating and drinking. As long as Yi Rishan doesn't call him, he doesn't care about so many things. Marvel's deeds, say more and more, say less and less, care so much for what? Xingqian only had Yi Rishan in his eyes, ignoring the others. Yi Rishan looked at Hawkeye approvingly. No problem, I promise your conditions. It's just that when this thing is done, attack Wakanda, the American team may not agree. When the American team heard Yi Rishan name himself, he looked puzzled and pointed to himself. Are you talking about me? Why would I disagree? Hit Wakanda, then hit it. Fury seemed to know Yi Rishan's concerns, and opened his mouth to explain. Mr. Yi, are you worried that Rogers will not recommend us to use violent attacks to get vibranium? Right, he will group to stop us. You can rest assured, Rogers is not that kind of person. He is a person who has participated in World War II, a person who has killed people, and he will not be so pedantic. Seeing that everyone was accusing the American team, Hawkeye couldn't help but speak. Isn't that right? I think the idea of the American team is right. We can exchange things with Wakanda for vibration. Hawkeye has not finished speaking, suddenly realized that it is not right, such a valuable thing as vibranium, but also the source of Wakanda's scientific and technological power. How can we be willing to exchange with us? Even if it is exchanged, we can't take a huge corresponding thing to exchange for vibranium. So I can only grab and attack Wakanda. The United States is the largest country in the world. What is the big deal to hit him, a small African country, as if he said the wrong thing. Tony looked at Hawkeye with idiotic eyes. The American team is also embarrassed. Originally he was still a little merciful, only robbed and did not kill, but after hearing Hawkeye's words, he suddenly opened, take things for vibranium. What to exchange for? Vibranium is so rare that you can't exchange it for much if you sell yourself. This Yi Rishan knows himself well. Thinking of this, Rogers looked deeply at Yi Rishan. This person, not only powerful, but also thoughtful, penetrating people's hearts. Natasha and Fury looked at each other, rejoicing together. Fortunately they didn't let him be a scholar. Otherwise S.H.I.E.L.D. would be ruined. Hawkeye, you better be an archer honestly. When Yi Rishan heard Hawkeye's words, he didn't want to pay attention to him, thought about it out of respect, or replied. What to exchange with him? Sell you for a bowl of vibranium. For Yi Rishan's mockery, Hawkeye was very embarrassed. He was not angry, it was because he didn't think much about it. I live in a strong country, I want to grab it directly, and my own defense of the country is more just to protect the United States, and other countries have nothing to do with me. Thinking of this, eagle eye awakened. Yi Rishan ignored Hawkeye and continued. Don't worry, Wakanda, I'll be busy in a few days, take you over to attack, and rob the vibranium there. There are so many vibraniums there are countless of them. Tony asked curiously. How many tons? Yi Rishan glanced at Tony lightly. Everyone was puzzled. You should ask how many mountains there are vibranium. What? Vibranium for several mountains. How is it possible? You lied to me, didn't you? In addition to Deadpool and Star, Yi Rishan's words made the Avengers all stand up in shock. Lying groove, so many. American team even brightened their eyes. Yi Rishan, when are we going to grab it? I will take the lead. Oh, shit, I didn't expect you to be this kind of person. How can my dad have a friend like you? For the words of the American team, Tony feels that the three views have been subverted, and the American team, for the sake of vibranium, does not lose face. Team America gave Tony a blank look. Yi Rishan waved his hand and said. Isn't it the vibranium of several mountains? If there is anything strange, sit down. I'll take you to grab it when I'm done. Fury, what I said next about the origin of your S.H.I.E.L.D. nemesis, the Hydra organization, I gave you a task, that is, to eradicate Hydra. Do you know, especially your American team is in the lead, is there a problem? Isn't Hydra already extinct? Where is their Hydra? No problem, Yi Rishan. Fury and the American team were very puzzled by Yi Rishan's words. Yi Rishan patiently explained. They secretly still have. This is a huge organization. Hydra, as the name suggests, cut off a head and grow a head, your former S.H.I.E.L.D. Director Alexander Pierce's Hydra's undercover. Your S.H.I.E.L.D. has been infiltrated by Hydra and entered many Hydra undercover. What? You said I have a lot of undercover agents in S.H.I.E.L.D. Fury, what did you do? Natasha said in surprise, and the American team asked Fury bluntly, you don't know that you have been infiltrated so much. Fury was embarrassed. No one doubted Yi Rishan's words. His ability and strength had already convinced everyone, and Tony trusted Yi Rishan's uncertain prophet and foresaw the future. This undercover matter, I'll give you a list after I'm busy, and you take the list to arrest people quietly. Mr. Yi, thank you. If they are really undercover, after being found, I will definitely pay special attention to your affairs in the future. Most of the resources of S.H.I.E.L.D. are open for you. Director. Bureau. Fury interrupted Natasha and Hawkeye's greeting. He did this for his own reason. It seemed to be helping Yi Rishan, but in fact he was also wooing Yi Rishan. He couldn't be a friend, but he couldn't be an enemy, let alone offend. Yi Rishan nodded. I'll talk about this later. Let's talk about the origin of the establishment of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Hydra. Millions of years ago, the two major races of the universe, the Kree and the Skrulls, had a war. For strategic needs, the Kree came to the solar system and set up a working outpost on the moon. The origins of the Inhumans and Hydra. Thousands of years ago, the blue-skinned Krees rose to become a warlike empire. They begin to travel through the universe, experimenting on the races they encounter, Terry origins, to create super soldiers and use them as weapons. Although most of these experiments were unsuccessful, the Kree managed to successfully engineer a hunter on Earth to form the first Inhumans, the Alves, or Hive. But instead of becoming a weapon for the Kree, the Hive united with other Inhumans to drive the Kree out of Earth. But because of the fear of the power of the hive, the rest of the Inhumans, along with humans, banished him to a planet called Maveth. After this incident, the hive had its own admirers on Earth and spontaneously formed its own organization, the Hydra. The relationship between the Inhumans and humans who remain on Earth is also becoming increasingly tense. As a last resort, the Inhumans chose to migrate to the outpost established by the Krees on the Moon and control the population through a strict ethnic nature. The Inhumans began to develop themselves in the days that followed, and they developed their own social system. Living in isolation has given them advanced technology that surpasses humans. Through the Terrigen Mist, they gain all kinds of superpowers, but they also cause genetic damage and deformities. The Inhumans have undergone a long-term breeding program to mitigate these mutations. The Inhumans established Atalan in the blue zone of the Moon, ruled by Black Bolt, the Inhumans' king. Well, that's probably where Hydra comes from. Subsequently, Yi Rishan used his psychic ability to convey Fury's mind according to the undercover list of S.H.I.E.L.D. in his mind. Fury was still in shock. Yi Rishan's information was too big, he needed to sort out his logical thinking. And suddenly felt an unfamiliar memory input in his mind, and a sense of dizziness hit. After a simple digestion, Fury was numb, and these list messages were all S.H.I.E.L.D. senior agents and scientific researchers, as well as the former director, not to mention how dark his face was. Thinking of this, he hurriedly got up to say goodbye. Yi Rishan nodded, and Fury left. He needs to start dealing with this list information carefully, otherwise S.H.I.E.L.D. will be finished in his hands. Everything that should be said is over, you can go, I will take you to fight Wakanda in a few days, you adjust your state. Seeing that it came to this, Team America, Hawkeye, and Natasha didn't ask again, and they all left. Yi Rishan watched everyone leave, intending to solve those demons first and then kill Dormammu. Yi Rishan told Tony to go out, and came back later, and went out with the stars. Deadpool stopped eating and drinking, wondering. These two people can't go out and do bad things, right? When Tony heard this, you cow, I dare not speculate Yi Rishan. Boom. Yi Rishan turned around and gave Deadpool a big hole in his heart and teleported out with the stars. Deadpool covered his heart with both hands, instantly fell to the ground, and blood flowed from the corners of his mouth. Good. It hurts, my heart hurts. Tony was frightened, telling you to say bad things about people behind your back. Now it's okay, Yi Rishan, you dare to provoke. Hey, die. Deadpool, are you okay? Don't you have an immortal body? What a look like you're going to die. Deadpool raised his head with difficulty, shook his head and said. No, I don't have an immortal body, I just have a strong self-healing ability. Now, I'm going to die. Tony, I also have a wish, that is, I don't have a son, can you satisfy me, call me daddy? Nani? Shit. I care about you kindly, you want to be my father. Tony shook his head and said. Since you are going to die, can I whip the corpse now? Deadpool. This script is not right. When he saw Tony wearing bone armor equipment and really gave him a shot, Deadpool immediately stood up from the ground, and the wound healed early. How did you find out? Tony spread his hands. Your acting skills are too poor, you are not handsome, and the widow next door does not love it. Deadpool. At night, Yi Rishan came outside with the stars, and on the country path, the streetlights on both sides of the road were shining, the brightest light source in the darkness, guiding people's direction. Xingqian walked on the left and said. Where are we going? Kill the devil. Go to hell to kill in a moment. Oh. I go wherever you go. Yi Rishan's footsteps stopped, looking somewhere in the dark, controlling the strength or afraid that he would accidentally kill him, and his eyes hit him. Ah. A man fell from the black shadow, and the person came in a black suit. His steps were vain, weak, but his eyes were covered with strange runes, and his body exuded a decaying aura, a proper smell of hell demons. The man fell to the ground from a high altitude, with a large burning mark on his chest. He didn't understand how he could be found if he was hiding well. Yi Rishan looked at him. This person looked so charming, painted with makeup, sprayed with perfume, evil charm. Which cow and horse are you sent by the witch heart demon? Wind demon? Earth devil? Or a water devil? Quote. Cow and horse. I'm not a cow or horse. It always feels like a good word. Evil manhood is corrupted. You are a cow and horse, you two are cows and horses, I am a demon, you lowly mortal, kneel before me, Sacrifice the woman next to you, mortal. Yi Rishan's eyes were cold, and he punched out. The man disdained, a mortal compared his fist with me. Isn't that hilarious? If he hadn't been carelessly attacked just now, it would be him who would have been injured now. The evil man also stepped and punched. Boy, you immortal dares to compare with me. A punch hit the man, directly turned into a mist of water, and evaporated in the air. Yi Rishan looked calmly and mockingly looked at his corpse mist. It was so weak that he couldn't even withstand Superman's punch. Water mist. It should be the water demon. This guy ended up dying in the hellfire. And what about the water demon? The rain that died in the hellfire that night gave him an increase, and was still killed. Marvel is just like this, little ant and dares to call the devil. Shaking his head, how weak. The water demon appeared here, indicating that the other two were almost dead. The earth demon was scattered by Johnny, and the wind demon was swept to death by Johnny with an iron chain spinning into a wind vortex. Yi Rishan sensed that there was a cemetery within a kilometer nearby. And there was an old man carter who guarded the tomb. It is estimated that it was the one who transformed into an evil spirit knight, inadvertently killed all the villagers, and then punished evil and promoted good in the world, and the hellfire ran out or for some reason to go into seclusion, and at the same time his life was at the end, and he would die if he used it again, waiting for the birth of the next evil spirit knight. The shovel in his hand hides the Saint Van Gonza contract that the witch heart demon wants. It is said that if you get this, you can rule hell, and the father Mephisto is not happy, so he fights, and the son asks the three strongest ice to think that he has won steadily, who expected that his father directly asked Shaodai to turn over. Yi Rishan's head was a little messed up by this family. These two demons are really strange. Speaking of the evil spirit knight, Yi Rishan couldn't help but think of his origin. The evil spirit knight refers to the host, and its real name should be the spirit of vengeance. The old man Carter and Johnny of the cinematic universe are just a product of the cinematic universe of the first and second generations of Ghost Knights, and in Marvel Comics, they can't even see the first 5 shadows. The origin of the Ghost Knight is extraordinary, especially deep. In the early comics, the timeline system of the Ghost Rider is complicated, not only deriving several generations back millions of years ago, but also most superheroes have also become the Ghost Knight, just like Captain Marvel, Black Panther, Falcon, Doctor Strange, God Vithor, Hawkeye, etc. The system of the Ghost Rider is not only large but also more complex. The first Earth human Ghost Rider in Marvel history was born 1,000,000 years ago as a primitive boy. One day, the monster Wendigo came to the cave where his tribe was located, killed all the people in the tribe, and the little boy became the only survivor. Wendigo named the little boy Evil Spirit, and left. Mephisto transforms into a snake and seduces the evil spirit to pronounce his name, so the little boy becomes the vengeful spirit Evil Spirit Knight, and 5 years later he finally finds and successfully kills Wendigo. However, since the little boy did not have a mount, he was not counted as the first generation of Ghost Knights. Later, Lady Phoenix and Odin found the Ghost Knight and formed the Stone Age Avengers. Other Avengers include Agamotto, original Black Panther, original Star, and original Iron Fist. The Stone Age Avengers successfully defeated the fallen celestial god Sorrowers, but the Stone Age Avengers were defeated by the celestial god group during the first arrival of the Tenjin group. The source of the spirit of vengeance. God caused a great flood to wash away the sins of the world, and after the great flood, God created a rainbow to teach people good, but there are still sins. So God created the spirit of vengeance to protect good human beings and purify sin. God also appointed the archangel Zedekiah to manage the spirit of vengeance and conceal the true origin secret of the spirit of vengeance. The origin story of this version of the Ghost Knight is very similar to DC's Ghost. Both come from God, but the status and strength of the Ghost Knight cannot be compared with the Ghost. The spirit of vengeance is the source god, but whether this god is a Marvel god or a DC god is unknown. Yi Rishan thought carefully. While going to the cemetery, there are 6 most special evil spirit knights. The first one, the prehistoric version of the evil spirit knight 100,000 BC. After the evil spirit knight injected hellfire into a mammoth, he turned it into his own mount. Compared with Johnny Hell motorcycle, the mammoth is more domineering. The prehistoric version of the Ghost Knight holds the most primitive powers, and it is safe to say that he may be the first Ghost Knight. However, in the annals, the first source of the ability of the evil spirit knight is the Hell Lord Mephisto, so the source of the ability of this mammoth evil spirit knight is probably inherited from Mephisto. After all, hellfire, hell, is not related to Mephisto. The second, the Ghost Knight, Roberto. The most obvious feature of the Reyes Ghost Rider is his bare skull, but there is one who is different. He is Roberto, a character who appeared in S.H.I.E.L.D., wearing a helmet-like equipment on his head and wearing a different suit than the classic version. In addition, he is different from most Ghost Riders. Roberto Reyes is not possessed by the Ghost Knight, but by the soul of his uncle Leas Moreau, but even so, his strength is not to be underestimated. His mount is not a motorcycle, but a hell racing. Third place, the Ghost Knight, Cage. Daniel Cage is the third Ghost Knight. Once also known as Phantom Knight, the strength is also very strong. Daniel was born in New York. After being seriously injured by the gang, he fled to a garbage dump, where he found a motorcycle with a mysterious color. After touching, became a messenger of hell, turned into an evil knight, and then ended the gangster. This Ghost Rider is also more classic. Leather clothing, motorcycle, at that time was also imitated by many fans. The fourth, the combined version of the evil spirit knight Red Hulk fused with Venom, and was immediately parasitized by the spirit of vengeance, so a most alternative evil spirit knight was born. The Red Hulk's strength is already very strong, and when combined with Venom, his power is enhanced, and with the ability of the Ghost Knight, this new character has unprecedented destructive power. The fifth, the Ghost Knight, the evil Ghost Knight in John Bles's movie, Chariots of Souls. As an agent of heaven, John has a variety of abilities, such as the Eye of Judgment, the immortal body, hellfire, chaining and so on. The sixth, the strongest version of the cosmic evil spirit knight Evil Knight is the Cosmic Evil Knight. His real name is Frank Custer. The body is actually a Punisher. After his death, he traded with Mephisto, the Planet Eater, and Thanos and became the Cosmic Evil Knight. And his combat power even reached the level of the Heavenly Father. Unlike other Ghost Knights, in space, he would put a hood on his head, and many people thought that he was worried that the flames would be extinguished, which is also very interesting. The Cosmic Ghost Knight wears armor with the classic symbol of the Punisher, and in addition to the Ghost Knight's conventional weapons, he also has two high-tech firearms and weapons, which is very domineering. Because he has cosmic power, he is also the most difficult version to deal with. Of the above six, only the first one to ride a mammoth is the most likely original evil spirit knight, and the most handsome of the six, and he has developed the gameplay of mounts, so that the descendant versions have imitated one after another. Has always been imitated, never surpassed, and firmly sits in the first domineering side leakage gimmick. In his thoughts, Yi Rishin came to the cemetery with the stars. There was a fenced field nearby, there was a log cabin inside, the door was open and the light was on. An old man fainted, the field was a mess, obviously, there had been a fight. Yi Rishin and Xingqian walked in, and a horse spell force was struck, and the bruises and slight concussions on the old man's body were repaired and he woke up. Yi Rishin is not so kind-hearted, so, the old man is lying on the ground by himself, and he gets up with difficulty. Harm. Yi Rishin said to the old man. Who were you injured, old man? The old man looked at Yi Rishin, feeling the powerful power in Yi Rishin's body, and his eyes became solemn. I'm fine, who are you? Yi Rishin saw the old man's eyes and knew that he had misunderstood something, and at this moment, a motorcycle drove over, and it was Johnny sitting on it. As soon as Johnny stepped into the cemetery, the old man Carter recognized him. Johnny is also an evil spirit rider and a new generation of evil spirit knights. Immediately ignored so much, quickly ran over to explain to Johnny what happened. Johnny heard this, thought of the witch heart demon, and then Johnny kidnapped his girlfriend by the witch heart demon, and asked the old man in the cemetery for the contract of Saint Van Gonza. The old man had no choice, so he had to take out the contract from the broken shovel. Then looked at Yi Rishin and asked the old man who the two were. Yi Rishin came over and said calmly. Let's go, two evil spirit knights, kill the witch heart demon, we will fight again. You, who are you? Johnny looked at Yi Rishin in surprise, always feeling a little familiar, and couldn't remember it for a while. The old man Carter remembered and pointed at Yi Rishin. You are Superman Yi Rishin. The Yi Rishin who destroyed more than 700,000 people in Washington and the highest death rate can reach millions and hundreds of thousands. Yes, let's go. Later the witch heart demon rules the world. You guys won't be able to fight. You solve him, and we'll deal with our business. You. Johnny, let's go. It's important to save people. Johnny couldn't help but want to sanction this murderer. Carter stopped him, and heard that saving his girlfriend Johnny forced his killing intent on Yi Rishan. Yi Rishan glanced at Johnny calmly. Killing intent. I don't want to kill you, but you want to kill me. Spirit of vengeance, you have long skills. Then, the old man Carter whistled and called his war horse. Johnny transformed into an evil spirit knight, and the two looked at Yi Rishan, as if to say, how do you go, is it to go? Yi Rishan was a little impatient, and said calmly. I'll catch him and beat him yourself. The two looked confused. Do you know what you're talking about? Witch heart demon is in the church, dozens of places from here. In the next second, Yi Rishan teleported and appeared with the witch heart demon and Johnny's girlfriend, and Yi Rishan kicked the flying witch heart demon. Step aside and watch them fight. Everyone. Johnny sat on a red-flamed Harley motorcycle, and the old man Carter's skull rode on the burning horse with fire on his head. Johnny muttered in his heart, still underestimating you, the murderer, will judge you with the eye of repentance. Ah. Johnny's girlfriend, as soon as she came out, saw four weirdos, two evil spirit knights with flames on their heads, a murderer Yi Rishan, and a demon witch heart demon, and directly fainted. The witch fell in front of Johnny and the old man Carter. Drive. Carter didn't say a word, and went up to step on the witch heart demon on the hellfire horse, and the witch heart demon quickly rolled. Johnny didn't care about his girlfriend, or solve the demon first, and also used all his strength to attack, using hellfire and the iron chain wrapped around his shoulder to attack suddenly. Then used the eye of repentance, that is, the eye of judgment to judge the witch heart demon, and found that he had no soul, could not be judged, and could only be physically output at close range. The witch heart demon found the right time to stand up, his hands surged with evil energy, summoning the souls of 100 ghosts and evil spirits, 100 ghosts walking at night, attacking the two. Yi Rishan was watching helplessly, and urged impatiently, can you guys play faster, I'm in a hurry. He didn't say that it was okay. As soon as he said it, the three people all looked at Yi Rishan. Old man Carter didn't think so much, and continued to order the fire horse to hit the witch heart demon. You mortal. The witch heart demon jumped like thunder, and cursed at Yi Rishan. He was in this difficult situation, and some people were watching the play on the sidelines without saying anything, and they were still mocking there. You. Johnny was also a little defensive by Yi Rishan, but he still didn't lose his mind. It is important to save people and kill demons. Yi Rishan will not run. As soon as he cleans up, he will finish fighting immediately. He thought so, and someone didn't want to wait any longer. Yi Rishan watched the three weak chickens peck at each other, without any passion at all, and his eyes hit. Ah. Quote. You human being, you dare to sneak up on me. I won't die. Ah. Quote. The witch heart demon was attacked from three sides, and was melted into slag by Yi Rishan's hot sight, disappeared into the void, and his soul flew away. Shish. What harm does this? The old man Carter suddenly felt that as an evil spirit knight, we couldn't beat him. Johnny was also a little unconfident. He had worked so hard to fight the witch heart demon, and he couldn't resist the fire of people shooting the witch heart demon. Johnny is driven by the spirit of vengeance in his body, and a strong sense of justice makes him step forward to look at the stars, use the eye of judgment, and the eye of judgment verdicts that she is not guilty. He looked at Yi Rishan again. You are guilty, look into my eyes, Yi Rishan. I look, spirit of vengeance. Yi Rishan looked at the evil spirit knight without fear of sneering. Oh no, to be precise, looking at the spirit of vengeance in Johnny's body, Johnny felt the restlessness of the spirit of vengeance flame in his body. It seemed, it was afraid. Since Johnny has just become an evil spirit knight, he is not familiar with the spirit of vengeance, and even does not know what the spirit of vengeance is, thinking that the fire in his body is just the fire of the dead hell. You are guilty, eye of judgment, judgment. No, I am not guilty, but you are guilty, spirit of vengeance. Yi Rishan sneered, disdainful. Shut up, mortal, I see in your eyes countless unjust souls wailing for the loss of your hands, in pain, grief, leaving tears of sorrow. It is you executioner, they will die. Your sins are unforgivable, your sins are monstrous. After that, using hellfire, summoned countless unjust ghosts to attack Yi Rishan, and took a knife, some took a halberd, and some took an energy staff, and some opened their huge mouths to tear and bite, and a terrifying roar came out of their throats. Yi Rishan looked at the spirit of vengeance with a fierce face. Yes, I am guilty. My sin is not standing obediently and being beaten to death by them, to accept their planting and persecution. I, the most evil, heinous, and you, the spirit of vengeance, in this vast and boundless multiverse, you are something. Dare to judge my crimes privately and die. Quote. Yi Ri Angel came out of the space-cutting ability to shred those evil weapons. A punch to Johnny the Ghost Rider. Seeing this, the old man Carter didn't say anything, and rushed over on a horse. Yi Rishan looked at the burning hellfire on his hand, and it hurt slightly, and burned the flesh on the back of his hand in the blink of an eye. Yi Rishan frowned, using the power of the horse spell. It was useless. Hellfire, fire from hell. His body had no resistance at all. This seemed to be a magic injury, far less than the physical damage healed quickly. Yi Rishan suddenly had an idea in his heart, and said to the stars, Xingqian, you put on the levitation cloak, you protect yourself by the side. Xingqian nodded, loosened the leather band levitation cloak on his head, put down his hair, put on the levitation cloak, and looked at Yi Rishan's body with red flames, and an arm had been burned. Yi Rishan looked at the flames on his body, the power of the horse spell and the superhuman cells in his body, and the ability to regenerate the day of destruction to heal madly, but it was only delayed for a few seconds. Sooner or later, a wheel war will be burned by the whole body. Yi Rishan no longer resisted the flames, gave up self-healing, and watched the old man Carter rush over. With a punch from hellfire, teleported on the old man's head, Carter was knocked hundreds of meters away. No. The evil spirit rider Johnny saw the old man being shot away, and looked at Yi Rishan, and the whole body was burned and could not see the figure, guessing that he should be burned to death, so he went to chase the old man Carter. I plan to come back later to clean up Yi Rishan's body. Xingqian saw that Yi Rishan was burned by hellfire. This was the first time he saw Yi Rishan injured so badly. His brows wrinkled slightly, and he asked a little worried. Rishan, are you still there? Are you really okay? I'm fine, don't worry, I just want to try the ability of Doom Day. I will be resurrected after being killed, and the body and cell regeneration ability will produce resistance to become tougher and stronger. The same attack cannot kill me twice. When I am resurrected, not only can he no longer kill me, I will also evolve and counter his ability. The body is even more resistant to ignore the attack of hellfire, the best of the three, not to mention. I will die first. Xingqian. The last sentence, how can the words sound a little strange? Soon, Yi Rishan was burned into a pile of black slag, like carbon ash on the ground. In the next second, in the gaze of the stars, Yi Rishan appeared out of thin air, and the skeleton, blood, cells, nerves, tissues, fibers, blood vessels, skin, flesh and blood, etc. recondensed one by one. Soon, in the blink of an eye, Yi Rishan's appearance was restored to its original appearance, and the whole process was about a second, 1.2, never more than 2 seconds. Xingqian looked at Yi Rishan's bare body, and then at the black slag remaining on the ground. She couldn't believe that the pile of slag on the ground was Yi Rishan. No one believed that he had died once. Xingqian looked into Yi Rishan's eyes and asked gently. Put on your clothes. Yi Rishan found that he was not wearing clothes, and he was naked, and the hellfire burned the original body, and the ordinary clothes naturally couldn't bear it. Coming out of Tony's house, he didn't change into a blackened suit at all. Yi Rishan quickly changed into a Superman suit and said excitedly, this is my first death, it seems that I will die more in the future, otherwise I suppress the ability to be unable to exert the day of destruction, and I must be killed by the other party to evolve the ability to counter the opponent, and then the body will become resistant, and the self-healing cell will become tough. Even if it becomes a cell, it can heal itself again. Xingqian shook his head next to him and said, you stupid, don't you have idealistic ability? You modify the setting not to let being killed to trigger the ability of the ancient Doom Day, change it to the ability to evolve the ability to counter the opponent as long as you are injured, and at the same time strengthen the body's resistance and self-healing ability. Isn't it good? Yi Rishan heard it and froze. You're so smart, Xingqian, why didn't I expect it's too much hanging like this, wouldn't it be bad? Xingqian looked at Yi Rishan angrily. Aren't you just hanging on the road? You are crushing all the way. Even if Deadpool just appeared at full level, you can fight. How? Now the invincible road makes you lonely, and you don't want to be invincible. Yi Rishan said helplessly. That's not true, but I want to use it as a whole card. Use it too early, lose the fun, lose yourself, and can't recognize your weakness. Take your time. Well, if you have an idea, you die once, what ability have you evolved to counter hellfire? Heavenly waters. Hellfire, the opposite, the water of heaven. Just does heaven have water, let you evolve. You ask me who I ask, besides, the great heaven, how can there be no water? Water is the source of life, it is no water, I can conjure water. That's also, out of nothing in Marvel is not bizarre. Ancient Doomsday is a perpetual motion machine, right? Yes, he has infinite, never-ending physical energy, and after circulating in the body circle after circle, he can create something out of nothing, generating energy out of thin air. It does not need to absorb any material energy through the outside world to supplement himself, at least in terms of physical fitness. I understand. Just like Zhang Wuji Juyang divine skill in the previous life, the internal force cycle, endless, Lingbo microstep is also. You use the body method, it will produce a steady stream of internal force, inexhaustible, and the physical energy is several times more than most people. That's right, but no prize. Cut the watermelon, I'm going to eat it. Hee. Yi Rishan looked at the angry stars, very cute character. On the other side, the evil spirit rider came to the place where the old man Carter fell, and when he approached, he found that he was lifeless, and the war horse also died next to him. Yi Rishan's punch shattered Carter's internal organs, and Carter, who had come to the end of his life, was even worse after receiving a punch. The evil spirit rider Johnny returns, with endless rage, and vows to whip the corpse Yi Rishan. You, why aren't you dead? You fool, you killed Carter, I'm going to kill you. Yi Rishan put away his giggles, looked at the flame chain thrown by the evil spirit, and grabbed it with his hand. The evil spirit knight also pulled hard, trying to drag Yi Rishan over and beat him, wrapping iron chains around his neck and strangling him alive. Yi Rishan saw that the evil spirit knight dared to compare his strength with himself, he was really fearful. The hellfire iron chain was grasped by Yi Rishan in the palm of his hand, and a stream of water appeared out of thin air to wrap around Yi Rishan's hand, and submerged along the iron chain at an extremely fast speed, as if to extinguish the hellfire on the evil spirit knight. No, how can you be okay? Not only did you not die after being hit by my hellfire, but now you can still hold the chain after I attached the fire. Why don't you have anything at all? Yi Rishan smiled and spoke. You don't really think that your hellfire is invincible, do you think I have such a means, the immortal body? No, it's not true, you fool, I'm going to kill you, pay for the countless people you killed, go to hell and accompany them. The evil spirit knight saw the water of heaven coming towards him, he quickly loosened the chain. I don't know what the hell this is, it can actually extinguish his hellfire, what the hell is going on, very irritable. Thinking of this, he slowly walked towards Yi Rishan, released the flame and rubbed out the fireball, and threw it towards Yi Rishan. Yi Rishan saw that the water flow had lost its target and disappeared in place. The fireball struck, slapped one palm away, and slowly approached him. Looking at his own scene, Yi Rishan couldn't help but think of the previous life Dana Ultraman. It seems that there is an episode that is also like this, while approaching the monster, while shooting the fireball, speechless, collision technique. And body method, thinking of this, dare not shoot, I am a pirated body method, using the snake charm to stealth, and using two doppelgangers to be also invisible. Yi Rishan conveys ideas, and the two are divided into body and mind to comprehend. Seeing Yi Rishan's sudden disappearance, the evil spirit knight didn't know where to go, and panicked. What's going on with me, people? Is it running? The evil spirit knight was sent flying by Yi Rishan's appearance, and another doppelganger appeared with another sidekick and flew, and finally the other doppelganger received the sandbag evil spirit knight, and also bombarded the evil spirit knight towards the main body Yi Rishan. In this way, the triangle surrounds the ghost knight and is kicked around as a leather ball. You lowly mortal, inferior creature. How dare you treat the great spirit of vengeance like this? What? A fight after 5 minutes! Exclamation mark. There is a fight with Deadpool, worthy of being a member of the Hang Up, this one by one. It seems that there are more and more Hang Up encounters now. Ah, don't fight. Let me go. I was wrong, Superman Yi Rishin. Stopped attacking, because of the special ability of idealism, so the Avatar also has all the abilities of the ontology. The level strength is slightly weaker than the ontology. If the ontology combat power is 100%, the doppelganger is 90%, and has the will of the autonomous consciousness personality, and is controlled by the ontology if necessary. Yi Rishin let the two doppelgangers grab the arm of the evil spirit knight, kneel on the ground and face Yi Rishin. 4. Why? You three can. Immune to my hellfire. He really couldn't understand why these three people were immune to his hellfire, and for the first time in hundreds of years, they encountered such a tricky situation, incomprehensible, incredible. Yi Rishin smiled lightly at this vengeful spirit who was confused. That's because you are still too weak, your strength is better than the Eye of Judgment, and you are also losing in the Eye of Judgment. As for hellfire, it is not too much of a special flame, it is very strong compared to the mortal world, but in the face of countless powerhouses in this infinite multiverse, where can your hellfire be ranked? Looking at the confused evil spirit knight, Yi Rishin was full of embarrassment. Ghost Knight has two bugs, and soulless people cannot take effect of their judgment. The second bug, as long as the person who kills countless people, this person feels that he is not wrong, has strong beliefs and a firm heart, and the Eye of Judgment is garbage. The most famous is Thanos. In a certain timeline, Thanos holds a chain in one hand, and the collar at the other end of the chain is tied around Hulk's neck, like a dog who has lost his family, and next to him stands the Ghost Knight who serves him. Thanos sits high on his throne, below are the corpses of countless superhero Avengers and villains, broken shields, sparse bone armor, and the hammer of Mjolnir that reveals the remains of the stars. Sometimes bored, just stare at the judgmental eye of the evil spirit knight, admiring the countless killings he has done. Thanos doesn't feel that everything he does is wrong, let alone that killing people is wrong, so the Eye of Judgment can't do the slightest harm to Thanos. Yi Rishin summoned the water of heaven in his hand, and in the horror of the evil spirit knight, all fell down the skull that irrigated the evil spirit knight. The Ghost Knight let out a scream of pain. Hellfire is the energy source of its life, and if it cannot burn it, it will weaken, retract into the body, and the body will be mastered by the host Johnny. The evil spirit knight resisted the invasion of Yi Rishin's heavenly water, and kept releasing more hellfire, trying to make the flames burn more vigorously and fiercely. The two doppelgangers desperately suppressed the arm of the evil spirit knight and prevented him from getting up. Yi Rishin looked at the evil spirit knight without any twists and turns in his eyes. Just you are called the evil spirit knight. Just you ride all the way with sparks and lightning, right? Just like to fill a cup everywhere with flames on your head all day, right? Water and fire, gold, wood, water, fire and earth, all things live together. I will extinguish your fire with water now. Without fire I see how you still use hellfire. Over time, the head of the evil spirit knight was poured with a large amount of heavenly water, and it extinguished. It looks extremely funny, and I can't help but sigh. Just like the gas stove at home is about to spew fire, I pour a scoop of water, you continue to spray. Do you keep burning? Then the gas stove, no matter how hard it tried, could not burn again. Watching the evil spirit knight slowly fade, flesh and blood breeding, skin and bones growing, Johnny will soon recover. Yi Rishin punched Johnny in the chest. Johnny's body exploded and exploded. Johnny is dead. A flame appeared at the corpse, like a heart, beating violently, and Yi Rishin took it over. The spirit of vengeance is unconscious. This thing is a bug, it is a true undead spirit. But I still want to give it a try. Yi Rishin pulled out the superhuman sword from the storage room in his body and faced the spirit of revenge as a sword, and the blazing flame of the spirit of vengeance was chopped to death by Yi Rishin, no longer burning, worthy of the sword of Superman. Well, the flame is gone, but a crystal-clear ruby the size of a newborn baby's fist appears in place, which should be the core of the spirit of vengeance. Boom. Yi Rishin is not dead, another sword cut over, Ruby is safe and sound, frowning. Is worthy of being the spirit of vengeance, my superhuman sword cannot be cut. Throughout the history of the multiverse, the immortal body of the spirit of vengeance is also a member of the hanging, worthy of being a spirit of vengeance created by God. Yi Rishan quietly pondered that the strength of the superhuman sword stimulated and grew with his strength, and he had not yet exerted the limits of his body and the superhuman sword. In addition, the spirit of vengeance is created by God, whether it is Marvel God or DC God, so the strength and pressure of the spirit of vengeance are extremely high, how God says it is also OAA level. Yi Rishan took the ruby spirit of vengeance in his hand, put away the superhuman sword and put it back in his body, carefully feeling the spirit of vengeance. Ideographic period. Soon Yi Rishan opened his eyes with joy, and he realized. The spirit of vengeance is not dead, but it has been beaten into factory mode by itself, and you can restart it yourself, but you can do some tricks. This guy currently has great potential, under the OAA is an immortal body, do not require it to be strong, at least can disgust people, right? At this moment, an old man in black appeared, holding crutches and wearing a gentleman's hat, very demeanor. Yi Rishan glanced at him. The two doppelgangers have not yet been returned to the body. 3-1, the legal intelligence on this old man is very rich, which makes Yi Rishan's body feel a little uncomfortable, and the ability of the body and doppelganger is greatly weakened. Mephisto was a little confused, he was resting in hell, he estimated that Johnny should fight with his stupid son Wuxin demon until dawn, and finally used the sunlight to kill the witch heart demon, and suddenly couldn't feel the breath of the stupid sun, even. The breath of the evil spirit knight, others are numb, what about my sheep? Oh no, what about my servant, the ghost knight? It's only 3 o'clock in the morning. Who are you? What about Johnny? Yi Rishan said lightly, I killed them all. Aren't you looking for me? How do you not know who I am? Mephisto was shocked. You are Superman Yi Rishan. I agree that you killed the witch heart demon, but why can't the evil spirit knight deal with you? What about him? Yi Rishan said patiently. I killed them all, didn't you hear? Are all demons deaf? Mephisto was furious and cursed. Low-level creatures, demons naturally have the magnetic field effect of suppressing humans, how can you beat the evil spirit knight? I don't believe it. Yi Rishan looked at Mephisto with idiot-like eyes. When did the spirit of vengeance become a demon? Mephisto, you have lived for thousands of years, you won't even forget this, right? As expected, Mephisto looked confused. Spirit of vengeance. What is spirit of vengeance? Boy, what else do you know? Yi Rishan looked at Mephisto in surprise, thinking in his heart, if you want to become an evil spirit knight, you must have a spirit of vengeance, it doesn't matter if there is a mount, you don't see that little boy a million years ago did not have a mount. Kill the enemy as it is. If it weren't for the descendants of the evil spirit knights who developed enchanted animals and cars, where would the mounts come from? This Mephisto should not be the first generation of Mephisto. Yi Rishan remembers clearly, Marvel Comics, Ghost Rider, records clearly stipulates that the source of the first evil spirit knight's ability is the Hell Lord Mephisto. If it is really the one in front of you, it is impossible not to know. In addition, after living for so long, the strength cannot be so weak, only at the single cosmic level. It seems that reality and comics cannot be confused. Stinky boy, let me ask you, dare to ignore the great hellish demon, Mephisto? Go and die. Mephisto saw that Yi Rishan ignored himself for a long time, and immediately cast hell magic with both hands, and shot an energy impact with the ability to corrode. Ordinary people were so stained that even bones could melt away, turning into foul-smelling black blood and dying. Yi Rishan didn't want to pay attention to this weak chicken and let the two doppelgangers fight him. Distracted and comprehended, he went up to block Mephisto's attack. Yi Rishan didn't care about the movement over there, looking at the spirit of vengeance ruby in his hand. A drop of blood was forced out of his finger and dripped on the spirit of vengeance. The next moment, the ruby bloomed with endless rainbow light, slowly flying up on its own, lighting up this small piece of void. Seeing this, Mephisto hurriedly shouted, "No, my evil spirit knight. Don't stop me." In a hurry, Mephisto flew off one of Yi Rishan's doppelgangers, making Yi Rishan dignified. This old thing can only send a Heavenly Father-level doppelganger in the comics, but I didn't expect that it was completely different now, but that's it, no longer look at it. Yi Rishan integrated the spirit of vengeance into his body, used idealism, erased the nature of turning into an evil spirit knight, and strengthened the level of hellfire, which is used by me. Yi Rishan looked at the battlefield. Mephisto is worthy of being a demon. It seems that his arrival has made the entire reality comic event also show signs of derailment. The plot strength division of the comic can no longer be implemented according to its standards. It is estimated that Odin's combat power is no longer at the level of the Heavenly Father. Mephisto alone fights his two doppelgangers, 5 or 5, actually did not take him in the short term. The magic restrained to death, making Yi Rishan extremely uncomfortable. His kryptonite and red sun have been immune. Almost the magic is not full. Yi Rishan's hot gaze shot over. Mephisto didn't have time to dodge, was shot and flew out, spitting out a mouthful of blood. Yi Rishan flashed over, picked up Mephisto's neck on the spot, and said calmly, "How do you want to die?" Mephisto. A fierce look flashed under Mephisto's eyes, and he cursed, "I'm just a doppelganger, my body is in hell, sooner or later I will seek revenge on you, kill me, do it." Yi Rishan nodded, "As you wish." Quote. A hot gaze shot Mephisto's head. Mephisto, the body of Mephisto, cannot leave hell at will. Not only hell has restrictions, but there are also people on earth to deal with it. This old thing likes to collect human souls, especially likes to look for those human beings who have lived helpless and miserable lives in the atrium, and find them to sell their souls to sign a contract. The night fell silent. In this cemetery, it is particularly silent and scary. Someone's girlfriend is frightened and collapses nearby, extremely oozing. I hope she can sleep until dawn. Yi Rishan looked around calmly, withdrew his doppelganger, and said to the stars, "You go back to the system space to rest first. I'm going to hell and destroy those demons. The smell in hell is bad and disgusting." Xingqian stood in the dark night for a long time, but did not complain, and spoke, "Okay, then when you miss me, call me out again." After Xingqian finished speaking, he returned the levitation cloak to Yi Rishan. It was useless to bring this thing in. Yi Rishan nodded, took the levitation cloak, draped it over his body, and when his mind moved, the stars disappeared. Feeling the dimension of Mephisto's breath, Yi Rishan used the power of the space gem to open a spatial wormhole, and the back was hell, Mephisto's domain, and stepped in. Hell, Mephisto realm. There are many monsters, demons, monsters, elves and other characters in the hell. Hell is like an earth, each area occupies a hell demon, do not invade each other. Famous demons include the evil gods Starak, Mephisto, Nightmare, Demon, Dormammu, Satan, Lucifer, Zerikos and many other characters, as well as many unknown evil gods. It is worth mentioning that Dormammu is a dimensional lord of the dark dimension and does not belong to hell, but is a demon to humans. The evil god Starak, the master of the Crimson Universe. Satan, the great demon king of hell lords. These demons are all second and third generations of demon gods, and the first demon gods have to look at the 4 ancient gods. Mephisto's field. The sky is gray and dark, the light black void, the feet step on soft sand particles, the endless earth and countless crawling, flying animals, very ugly, the fusion of various automatic plants. Yi Rishan used supervision to develop night vision ability, and saw the dim environment of hell as if it were day. Zerikos. Who is it? There is a strange breath that broke into our hell. Lucifer. That's right, it seems to be the people of Midgard, the world in the center of the world tree. Satan. Midgard is notoriously weak, the weakest of the 9 realms, but an extremely special world. The creator of the earth gave birth to the 4 ancient gods, but his descendants are now weak, and a weak human being can trigger the end of the world with a single blow. Dormammu. When a low-level creature also dares to break into our territory. Nightmare. It seems that that person and Mephisto have a grudge, appeared in Mephisto's old thing territory. Yi Rishan's breath of life disturbed the existence of many top demons in hell, and they were talking about how Yi Rishan died. The breath of Yi Rishan in Mephisto's territory instantly attracted countless reptiles to surround them, who were on all 4s, with long tails and barbed scales on their backs. It's a bit like crocodiles, but it's not like that, because they have chicken heads and faces, which is very weird. Hell is full of dark matter filled with dark magic, dark energy. Yi Rishan's cells are constantly repelling and disgusted, full of uncomfortable feelings, and the levitation cloak helps Yi Rishan increase his magic resistance in time. Soon, the cells and Sakari body adapted, inhaling these dark magical energies like never before. His body with low demon resistance, the cells cheered, and his body gradually adapted to the harsh environment here. Yi Rishan's combat power is released, and from now on, he will gallop through the battlefield in hell, bravely kill the enemy, and give hell a big reckoning. On the other side, deep in hell, Mephisto sat high on the throne, and below were countless monsters under his hand, standing in 2 rows and looking at the adult above with fear and respect. Tall and old, holding a black scepter, that face is even more terrifying and penetrating, only the eyes of the face show a green light, and the nose and mouth are all hidden in the darkness, which is Mephisto's essence. At the moment, he was angry. Why does a bug dare to break into my hell? Really don't put me Mephisto in my eyes, indulge for thousands of years. It seems that my Mephisto's prestige is no longer enough to suppress some people with evil minds. Even the weak chicken help Earth humans dare to step into my territory at will. Blackheart Devil. Mephisto called a demon named Blackheart Demon, and unlike the subordinate standing below, he stood next to Mephisto, the creation of the demon king Mephisto, composed of resentment and dark energy, and always had the sinister intention of replacing his father. Blackhearts are also enemies of many superheroes. In the comics, he once united with Wolverine, the Ghost Knight, and the Punisher to help him kill his father, but they rejected and were defeated by them. But Blackheart's overall strength is still good, once killed his father and was the king of hell for a while, and he was subsequently defeated by Noberkel. The black-hearted demon stood up. His eyes were full of desire for the throne and the intention of killing, hiding it well, but it was still captured by Mephisto. It was the time to use people. Mephisto did not care about this stupid son. As long as he was there, he was not afraid of him rebelling. Mephisto said majestically and magnificently, Blackheart Demon, you led a 1,000,000-strong army to kill the Terran brat. I will crown you with the title of the Holy Son of Hell, and announce to Hell, in time, it will also be the Lord of the Hell Demon King. Quote. The flatbread painted by Mephisto is fragrant and nice. A trace of excitement flashed in the heart of the black-hearted demon. Mephisto did not know that he was going to rebel, gathered people in the name of the Holy Son of Hell, won the hearts of the people, and joined forces with Zerachos, the king of hell next door, to annex Mephisto and become the king himself. Yes, Lord Murphy. The black-hearted demon took a 1,000,000-strong army of demons to kill the enemy. He thought that this was an extremely simple thing, a human being, and coming to hell was absolutely suppressed. Ordinary people could not bear it at all. Mephisto, this old, was confused. Killing a person actually had to use a 1,000,000-strong army. You must know that they only have 6 million unconscious, crazy and brainless monster-like monsters. Subordinate. This is good. Weaken his strength, wait for his own troubled waters to pretend that he can't fight, and then go to borrow an army. The Blackheart demon stopped thinking. Yi Rishan sighed. Every time he shot, a large number of monsters were killed, and those demons like crocodile chicken heads are countless. Yi Rishan's gaze destroyed the hundreds of dark elves and deformed creatures in front of him, and he looked up at the black-hearted demon in the distance leading an army of 1,000,000 to press the realm. Yi Rishan smiled cruelly. There are few people who bully me, right? Countless doppelgangers were immediately separated, and when the mind moved, 1,000 doppelgangers appeared. The black-hearted demon was frightened and stupid by this scene. What kind of monster is this? How can there be such a powerful ability? Just like the unlimited creation of doppelgangers, its own strength is not bad. Now there are more doppelgangers, isn't each of them ontology? Without having time to think about it, he controlled this group of deformed 1,000,000-strong troops, fought forward, and left behind himself. Kill. Countless demonic armies that can't see the end of the end swarming. Yi Rishan is fearless. This group of low-level demons, just a group of surface-level combat power, kill at will. Each shot can take at least hundreds of monster lives. All the doppelgangers followed Yi Rishan's body and showed multiple abilities one by one. Yi Rishan used his hot sight to kill and annihilate everything. Seal thousands of miles with frozen spit and kill more than 200,000. The body became larger, trampled hundreds of deaths, stomped heavily on the ground, and shook tens of thousands of monsters. The black hole swallowed an ability, sucked away a large area of demon-like monsters, and formed a vacuum as large as 5 football fields. The ability to create aquatic ice, release absolute zero low temperatures, freeze to death all the monsters flying in the depressurized sky, fall to the ground one by one, and burn their bodies with ghost fire. Yi Rishan burned the battlefield with hellfire, and tens of thousands of demons were burned to death on the spot. Seeing this scene, the black-hearted demon was very afraid, and if it continued like this, the entire army would soon be destroyed. The black-hearted demon quickly jumped towards the depths of Mephisto. he finally knew why he sent a million-strong army. It turned out that the enemy was so strong. This old thing dared to give me such a dangerous task. In this way, soon, Yi Rishan and 1,000 doppelgangers destroyed all the demonic armies, whether they were flying in the sky, crawling on the ground, swimming in the water, forehead, there was no water nearby, they were all killed by Yi Rishan. Yi Rishan tore open the spatial crack. Inside is Tony's home. During the day, just like that, the earth has dawned for a few hours. Yi Rishan took Deadpool and Banner over, and closed the spatial crack. Deadpool sensed it as soon as Yi Rishan's move was made, and was about to resist, which dared to suck this cheap me. Oh, it's Yi Rishan, that's fine. Yi Rishan looked at Banner and said, good dog, start the super change form. Hulk who lost his heart. Banner heard the owner's speech, and his clothes were instantly deformed by him, and the Hulk appeared. Yi Rishan looked and nodded, this is much more pleasing to the eye, wearing a highly elastic Superman suit Hulk, with a big S logo printed on his chest. How could he not have imagined that one day Hulk would wear a Superman suit? What is this called? Hulk Superman. Deadpool quickly put on a mask. The air in hell made him feel bad. Oxygen is there, but not much. The air contains a lot of black magic and dark energy substances. Ordinary people will fester and die of blood and water if they suck too much. But his Deadpool and Hulk are not ordinary people, and the invasion of their skin by black magic and dark energy quickly heals itself. The body gradually produces antibodies, and the hypermetamorphosis self-healing makes their cells strong. Deadpool looked at Yi Rishan's countless doppelgangers, and then looked at the body and asked, why did you run here? Is this hell? Which demon's territory is this? Yi Rishan said casually, they provoked me, and I came to serve the lair. This is hell, Mephisto's territory. Quote. Deadpool feels sad for Mephisto. Who are you messing with? What are you messing with, Yi Rishan? I'm afraid I don't know. A bunch of hanging artifacts on Yi Rishan's body. Nodded. Then what are you waiting for? Go on. After Deadpool finished speaking, he pulled out 2 carbon steel knives and teleported into the depths to chase the past. Yi Rishan looked at this guy with an excited expression, killing the enemy in blood, like beating chicken blood, and couldn't help but ask, how do you feel that you are a little excited? Does the Hell Demon have a feud with you? Deadpool said while fighting, yes, I haven't encountered Hell Demons before slaughtering the Marvel Universe world. Any superhero villain gods have been killed, and the Hell Demons have not been killed. I have to complete my diary now. Yi Rishan couldn't react for a while when he heard this. 6 inches, a single name and a 6. Yi Rishan and 1,000 doppelgangers flew side by side, pushing and crushing all the way. The Hulk was constantly jumping to catch up. Each time a small run. The leg muscles bulged and exerted force. Between breaths, full jumps at least 10,000 meters high to start, landing tens of kilometers away, and can always follow Yi Rishan's 10-fold supersonic flight. The black-hearted demon came to the depths of hell, where a large number of diverse demonic monsters gathered, and the black-hearted demon bypassed them, came to Mephisto, and knelt down. On one knee, King Kiowu, that human being is too strong, and the million-strong army has been annihilated by him. Please give me another 2 million troops, and I will definitely kill him. Mephisto sat high on the throne and slowly opened his eyes. His strange green eyes were very scary. Waste. This little thing can't be dealt with. I shouldn't have created you in the first place. Go and die. Mephisto scolded the Black Heart demon in a furious, raised his hand to shoot an attack of annihilation matter. And the Black Heart demon panicked, and quickly cast a spell to arrange a defensive array. Exclamation mark. The black-hearted demon vomited blood and flew out, being eaten by the demon-like monster, and looked at Mephisto incomprehensibly in his mind before he died. Why are you so strong? Quote. The Black Heart demon has endless remorse in his heart. Just like this, he dares to rebel. What a fool's dream. Bang. Rumble. Yi Rishan killed into the depths of hell and came to Mephisto, and under it was a large number of Mephisto's subordinates. Yi Rishan arrived with 1,000 doppelgangers, and Hulk and Deadpool also arrived immediately. The main body Yi Rishan stepped out and came to the front, Deadpool followed to his left, and Hulk stood on his right. Superman suit levitating cloak Yi Rishan, red and black uniform Deadpool, Superman suit without cape Hulk. Yi Rishan's gaze passed through more than millions of demons and looked directly at Mephisto. Mephisto, you have lived too long, it's time to die once. Mephisto was furious, and scolded angrily. Mess with things, a hairy boy dares to step into hell, and even more dares to break into my domain. Crawler, sacrifice your soul, be my slave, I spare you not to die. Otherwise, dare to take a step forward and die in an instant. Yi Rishan looked at Mephisto coldly, the planetary universe-level combat power, the same strength as himself, no wonder he gave himself a single cosmic-level illusion in the cemetery, and even fought with his two doppelgangers for 255, presumably there was a forbidden technique to exert the peak combat power forcibly irrigated by the body. Mephisto, this old thing, is also famous in Marvel Comics, one of the best reputations, and it is rumored that his status and popularity are on par with the evil god Setolik, but the strength is extremely vague. In multiple versions, the strongest of the powerful hell demons is the Eye Devil, that indescribable strange thing, then the evil god Starak, Mephisto, the great demon of Satan, Lucifer, etc. As for Mephisto, on the background of the background, Mephisto is also the best among these demons. More than 1,000,000 years ago, God set off a flood to flood the earth, and then sent down a rainbow to guide the good, representing hope and beautiful poetry and distance. Then a lot of vengeful spirits descended from heaven. And it is estimated that this vengeance spirit was more unlucky, so that it fell into the hands of Mephisto's ancestors, enslaved the spirit of vengeance, and continued from generation to generation, and the evil spirit knights who evolved the spirit of vengeance were sharpened into killing machines by them in exchange for the souls of those poor and miserable people for trading. Yi Rishan looked at Mephisto's terrifying grimace, and ordered Hulk Deadpool to enter the battlefield. Yi Rishan's lightning galloped and flew 10 meters high on the ground, setting off a hurricane and sand, rolling up huge waves, and came to Mephisto in the blink of an eye. Mephisto also ordered all the army monsters to attack, and 5 million troops poured out, not only more than 2 million surface-level combat power, but also 2 million and 8 million Heavenly Father-level demons, and the last 200,000 were all single universe-level. High-end combat power, casually pull out a group of Heavenly Fathers, and even single cosmic-level demons to attack the Earth. I am afraid that the Earth will collapse in an instant and cannot be resisted. None of the 9 realms can defend against it. Looking at the powerful force on Yi Rishan's fist, he struck. Mephisto left the throne, stood up and fought with his old wrinkled right hand as well. Exclamation mark. Yi Rishan's brows frowned slightly, and he only felt the unprecedented magic power surging from the opponent's fist, and he couldn't resist flying out backwards. Mephisto saw that his skeleton wrist was dislocated, gently twisted it back into place, and looked at Yi Rishan, who flew out upside down, and said disdainfully, "Don't measure yourself, it's been silent for too long, and the world will forget me." Quote. The powerful battle caused the ground to suddenly sink a lot, and a powerful shock wave swept away, and the force of the two fighting against each other was too strong, and the terrifying wave killed a large number of Mephisto's subordinates of the surface-level demons. Deadpool casually killed a single cosmic-level demon. Looking at Yi Rishan's condition, Yi Rishan, are you okay? Quote. The Hulk swept through a single cosmic-level demon, invincible, and those magical injuries could not cause the slightest damage to the Hulk's skin. Yi Rishan fell heavily to the ground, chi and blood surged. The magic of that moment greatly weakened the arm defense. The beaten right arm was fractured, stood up with difficulty, wiped off the blood stain at the corner of his mouth with his left hand, looked at Mephisto calmly, and answered Deadpool, "Deadpool, I'm fine." Quote. Yi Rishan secretly said, "This old thing is worthy of being a powerful owner of hell demon magic." After he entered hell, he did not suppress his own ability at all, and his combat power was all released, and he punched with all his strength, but he didn't fight. This old man has stepped into the planetary universe level for a long time, and he was inspired by Deadpool's appearance to advance to the planetary universe level, and he has been a single universe level before, and he has only been able to play for a month, but this is idealism, so it can't be counted this way, it's special. In addition, the potential of Silver Superman is very large, innately immune to kryptonite, but magic needs to slowly adapt to and enhance itself. Kryptonite and magic are two things. There are only kryptonite that really restrain Superman. As for the Red Sun universe, there are many, but they will not encounter, followed by magic, Superman is afraid of magic because these mages do not need to chant spells to cast spells, and those who need to chant spells are vibrant. Superman can generally interrupt the casting in advance to kill them. Obviously, this old thing Mephisto casts spells without chanting spells, and casts spells anytime, anywhere. Yi Rishan's iron body is trying to adapt to magic and generate magic resistance, but it will take a little time. With the powerful ability of silver superhuman idealism, 20 years from ordinary people to the surface level, heavenly father level, single universe level, planetary universe level, they have worked very hard. Ancient Odin Thanos is only a single universe level, there are treasure gems. To calculate their own 20 years to exceed their cultivation for 1,000 years, the rapid progress has to say that Silver Superman is powerful. It absorbs 10 million times more yellow solar energy than other superhumans, and coupled with the unlimited limit of idealism, this is so fast to become stronger. Deadpool saw that Yi Rishan was healing his arm, so he didn't worry, and he knew that his whole cards had not yet been used: Superman's sword, plot gems, time gems, and space gems. Deadpool plans to meet Mephisto for a while. The battlefield is full of fighting roars and death, fierce fighting, every collision produces a huge movement and a shock, countless battles are fighting. Human beings versus demons, who is the dear dead Deadpool? Teleported to Mephisto, two knives cut horizontally, the left-hand knife cut the neck, the right-hand knife split the waist. Mephisto. Find death. Mephisto ignored the two knives, because it could not feel any magic and physical damage on the knife. This was an ordinary double knife, how could it hurt him? Poof. Rumble. Deadpool's twin knives effortlessly cut off Mephisto's neck and waist, and Mephisto punched Deadpool in the chest. Deadpool exploded into a blood mist, and the two knives fell to the ground. Soon, the two of them were successfully resurrected in place. Deadpool picked up the double knife, and secretly said, "This demon is really powerful. This is another old monster. If I don't suppress him by rank, I can't beat him. Now everyone can beat me, it's too humiliating." His own defense is too poor, so he is self-healing an immortal body, and other aspects are like Yi Rishan said. Mephisto appeared, revealing his true face, an old man of 1 meter 8, gray and white skull, no flesh and blood, green eyes, black clothes, skinny body and skeleton hands. "You are multiverse level. What kind of person are you? What material are those two knives forged? They can actually kill me." Mephisto looked at Deadpool with a puzzled face. When did the multiverse-level powerhouse appear in humans? This kid is extremely weird. The two white samurai sabers are unremarkable, without the slightest energy fluctuation. That is, there is no power. How can you kill yourself? Deadpool looked at Mephisto and said, "I'm a carbon nanosteel knife, and I'm your father, stupid son. Hurry up and call dad, otherwise you will call dad when you beat." Mephisto was furious. "The hairy boy dares to be brave. Just now I was careless and didn't flash. You seem to only have an immortal body. The strength is not good. Go and die." Mephisto gathered dark magic with both hands, and powerful particles of dark energy emerged in front of Deadpool. Deadpool just wanted to move, but found that he couldn't. His whole body was frozen by the dark energy light, he couldn't lift the knife, and he couldn't press the teleportation belt button. Just like that, Deadpool was captured. Hell is all a place where magic, anti-magic, dark energy, evil things gather. You a physical damage hero runs in, people remotely control you, are not held down and unable to move. Deadpool looked at Mephisto in horror, his whole body under control. Mephisto looked at Deadpool fiercely and said, "Little bug, let me see if you are one level higher than me, what is the difference?" Like he, Mephisto has survived for thousands of years, and was actually suppressed by a mortal. It is simply a shame. Mephisto summoned a black scepter, transformed into a black longsword, and stabbed Deadpool's heart fiercely. Poof! Drawing his sword, the heart repairs with great speed visible to the naked eye, and Deadpool is still alive. Deadpool looked at this scene and said very dissatisfied, "Are you a demon? Please kill me." HMPH. Mephisto snorted coldly. This kid really has something strange. Not only has an immortal body, but also has a perverted self-healing ability, and that strange double knife. Mephisto continued to wrap his magic around Deadpool's body, picked up the black sword and cut Deadpool's neck cleanly. Staring at the bloody head that rolled to the ground, Mephisto looked like he had succeeded in his treachery. "Little bug, you are not dead this time." In The next second, Deadpool's head automatically flew up, healing his neck. Deadpool returned, and Deadpool said slyly, "Please kill me quickly, quick, baby, attack from behind, you're welcome." "What kind of person are you? This is not dead, how the hell can you die?" Mephisto looked at Deadpool angrily, jumped like thunder, and cut off Deadpool's head with a sword, chopping it to pieces. This time, the minced meat brain pulp on the ground never flew automatically again, and Deadpool became a headless corpse. In this regard, Mephisto was very satisfied, and there was a feeling of relief. Not bad, this time finally died. Young man, I don't know the height of the sky, anyone. Before Mephisto finished speaking, he saw that Deadpool's neck was rapidly breeding new flesh and blood tissue skin. Bone skeleton blood vessels quickly emerged. Mephisto panicked. What kind of monster is this? Kill and kill, fight and fight. It's like a dog's skin plaster, sticky to death, it's disgusting, you thing. Mephisto no longer hesitated, and continued to use the sword to split, stab, chop, cut, chop, etc., unloading Deadpool's body into 8 pieces, beating it into a puddle of meat mud blurred. As long as Mephisto relaxed a little, the blood would creep and heal on its own. The frightened Mephisto did not dare to stay for a moment, and then, a strange picture appeared. There was a mad old man who kept whipping against a pool of blood on the ground, convulsing like a wind, and those who didn't know thought he was crazy, and those who knew said that this person was indeed crazy. Carry it down. 2.5 hours later, due to Mephisto's obsession with fighting Deadpool, Rishin had already led the Doppelganger and the Hulk regiment to destroy Mephisto's army. Chicken and dog, vulnerable, if you are capable of this, you better die early, old Murphy. Surrounded Mephisto, just like this. Watching Mephisto and Deadpool stumbling in place, Mephisto didn't know. Just this and Hell Devil. Even Deadpool can't figure it out. Mephisto was still whipping Deadpool, he only felt that he was so tired and dry-mouthed. In these 2.5 hours, he killed Deadpool I don't know how many times, but every time the minced meat that fell on the ground would squirm on itself. As soon as he killed this piece of minced meat, its other blood would breed new flesh and blood, and he was helpless in the face of this scene. Kill this, the other grows, kills the other, and another is developing indecently, killing the last one that secretly developed, and as a result, there is another rapid self-healing. Using magic to blast out in a large area is useless, still not dead, and healing. Human, what the hell are you? Why can't you kill it? Why do you have such a powerful self-healing ability and immortal body, and why is that? Why? Quote. Mephisto's mentality is broken. Rishin spoke softly. Hey, old man, do you want us to wait for you again? I believe you, there must be a way to kill him. Roar, Hulk believes you too, Hulk doesn't like him, he knife. Hulk, it hurts. Hulk roared, waking up the spirit old man who was still addicted to whipping corpses and couldn't extricate himself. Mephisto turned to look at Rishin and his 1,000 doppelgangers as well as the Hulk, and said incredulously, You annihilated all my subordinate demon million army. The Hulk stood up and said with his fully developed brain, They die, bite the Hulk, smash, Hulk. Rishin listened to the Hulk stammering, thoughtfully, he just enslaved his will as the master and dog, his biological characteristics did not prevent it, so, he was developing. When I arrived at the Sokka star timeline, I was completely able to speak and communicate, and it seemed that I had to wait for a while, and I could talk or communicate later. Mephisto exclaimed, How is this possible? A single universe level, and a planetary cosmic level, destroyed my million-strong army, but I have more than 2 million single-body universe-level subordinates. Roar. Hulk roared childishly, while his hands kept beating his chest, venting the fruits of victory. Why can't it? Bugs, I can kill them, many, left. The master was killed by a doppelganger. Quote. Rishin's arm has long since recovered, and his body is further strengthening, absorbing the energy substances of the entire hell. No matter what you are, evil, corrupt, and foul-smelling, you can absorb and transform into power. He is like a powerful crusher seamless opponent. If there is an energy substance that cannot be crushed, it must be a level greater than him, but in this hell, is it possible? Rishin looked at Mephisto, who had not yet slowed down, and became helpless, and said sarcastically, Are you surprised to kill your demon-like monster? In this hell, you are not the strongest. Hearing this, Mephisto suddenly realized, Yi Rishan, you are really not an ordinary person, even I have heard a little about my strength ranking in hell, and I know it well. Quote. Mephisto gave up the whipping corpse of Deadpool, now he is one, it can be seen that Yi Rishan is their head, as long as they kill Yi Rishan, everything is not a loss, those army of demon-like monsters he can create with a wave of his hand, that is, the strength is not as good as before, it doesn't matter, it will be restored after hundreds of years of recuperation. Yi Rishan laughed and said, knowing some trivial news about you, are you very proud, Hell-Lord Mephisto? Compared to your ancestor Mephisto, in your generation, you really don't have a long face. Things, what else do you know? Dare to humiliate me like this, when I take your body and erode your soul, your strongest body will be mine, and then I will rule all hell and fulfill the great ideal. Yi Rishan scolded angrily. You old and disrespectful dog thing, another smelly man who craves my body. Don't come to anyone, I'll single him out. Mephisto sneered. Just as I want, without that undead cockroach, why can you beat me? Quote. Since Mephisto did not whip Deadpool again, Deadpool was resurrected again, not only his body, but also his clothes intact, making it completely impossible to see when he died. This is very unscientific. Yi Rishan and Mephisto had already fought together, and their fierce attacks produced huge fluctuations in their fierce attacks, hitting from the ground to the peaks, hitting the sky, hitting thousands of miles away, and hitting in front of them. Yi Rishan was shot off again and again, standing up again and again to pull into the gap, and the self-healing cells were crazy and brainless to absorb dark magic energy substances to make up for the lack of self-healing ability of the demon resistance, and his physical strength would never be exhausted. The pure physical strength was exerted to the extreme, and the tenfold strength was strengthened, and the power of the exploding star suddenly burst out, repelling Mephisto by tens of meters. The ground sank a lot, and it was fiercely bombarded to form a huge pit, and countless blades and magical energy between the hands were wantonly tearing the void. Deadpool looked at the battle between the two and sighed, Yi Rishan may not be strong now, but he has high growth and unlimited potential, and he can play a 73 without playing a whole card. As long as this old man does not kill Yi Rishan with one blow, Yi Rishan's body can quickly adapt and heal itself quickly. The more dark energy he absorbs, the stronger the attributes of the all-round system, he can immediately open 64, 55, once 5 open. When Yi Rishan took out the superhuman sword, Mephisto died directly, and the reason why he didn't use it now was simply that he didn't want to be serious. The aftermath of the battle between the two was seen by many demons who had been paying attention. Satan, a human with something, he seems to be called Yi Rishan, it seems that he has slaughtered all the demonic armies in the Mephisto realm. Zerikos. Yes, that human body is ridiculously strong, unheard of, a unique creature in the universe, I have never seen such a powerful human being, Asgard's Sakari body is not half as strong as him. Dormammu. There is also the green-skinned giant Hulk, whose strength is extremely strange, it seems that every time he is angry, he is 1 point stronger, and those Yi Rishan's doppelgangers, all of them have ontology-level strength, which is really terrifying. The evil god Starak. Yes, but if it dares to come to my Crimson Universe, I will definitely destroy him. Lucifer. Compared to that Yi Rishan, I care more about the guy called Deadpool. I can't kill no matter how I kill. I can't kill either, can you kill him? Quote. Everyone. Lucifer. Hey, is anyone talking? Evil god Starak. I can kill, as long as the three of them dare to come over, but they are just stronger ants, why can't they kill? Quote. Nightmare. As the ruler of the supreme plane, the evil god Starak is completely capable of saying this, and in many Marvel comics, Starak is the strongest demon in hell. Mephisto domain. Mephisto cast dark magic to attack Yi Rishan. Yi Rishan's hot vision shot over, but the result penetrated and did not hit. Mephisto sneered. I'm magic, not physical damage, idiot. Yi Rishan frowned, resisting a dark magic on his body, and his body quickly corrupted and flesh and blood disappeared. The power of the Luck Horse spell, the ability to regenerate the day of destruction, absorb the energy of black magic, the cells of the whole body madly absorb the magic in hell, and the massive material energy resources are close to him. The body was slowly repairing, and Mephisto knew that this was his chance, and the body teleported towards Yi Rishan and slashed fiercely. Yi Rishan slammed a punch over. Boom. Shish. The black sword pierced through Yi Rishan's left fist, stuck at the joint bone of his fingers, blood flew out, flesh and skin turned outward, and Yi Rishan gasped. However, compared to the fracture of the right arm before, now it is only a slight injury to the fist joint, which is much better in comparison. Mephisto saw Yi Rishan bleeding, and said sarcastically, "With this strength, I dare to brave my territory, is it really so good to be a demon?" Yi Rishan shook his hand and smiled cruelly without care. "Give me a little more damage, I don't want to win too easily." Old stuff. Quote. Mephisto was furious, and dared to make a big fuss when he died, a bug that didn't know the height of the sky. Quote. Mephisto raised his hand and sacrificed evil magic particles, like controlling Deadpool, controlling Yi Rishan. Yi Rishan immediately sacrificed an enhanced version of Hellfire. Oh, it should not be called God's fire. Magic attacks, yes, I have them too. Yi Rishan burned the void with the fire of God, and the fierce flames frightened the magic particles, and soon they retreated. "You, what kind of flame are you? Why can you burn my magic?" Yi Rishan watched as the wound on his fist healed itself quickly, stopped bleeding, and slowly scabbed, and said indifferently, "Isn't this what you gave Johnny, don't you know?" Mephisto was shocked. "What, it's the one I gave him, the evil spirit knight? No, it should be called the spirit of vengeance. I remember that the power is not so great. Yi Rishan, tell the truth, leave you all the corpse." Quote. It seems that you have remembered something, Mephisto. As for why it is different, of course it is. I can't tell you anymore. After speaking, he looked at his hand. Well, it was almost okay. Mephisto was furious. "You're delaying time, right?" Yi Rishan did not return to him, but teleported over, punched out fiercely. Mephisto's old technique repeated, and the black sword stabbed over. Boom. Yi Rishan's fist, the hardness of the bone collapsed the tip of Mephisto's sword. Mephisto only felt a huge force coming from the sword, shaking his palm numb, and felt stabbed into the indestructible stone. Looking at Yi Rishan's restored hand, Mephisto said with an incredulous face, Yi Rishan, how did you heal yourself so quickly? Isn't your body not adapting? How long has it been? Will you be able to shake off my sword?" Yi Rishan said lightly. "Is it difficult for you to retreat? If I weren't waiting for the cells to absorb energy to strengthen my body, how could I use this? Moreover, I am also honing my strength and body. No, it's impossible, it's fake, it's all fake, right?" Mephisto was angry and corrupted, and immediately fired a dark magic attack, which Yi Rishan dodged with a dodge. A flying kick jumped up in the air and suddenly fell, and Mephisto quickly blocked it with his sword. Boom. Mephisto's arm was numb by the power of the sword, and he couldn't hold the sword steadily, and he fell. Looking at Yi Rishan, he said, Why did your strength suddenly increase so much?" Yi Rishan stood in the void and said seriously, "You don't really think that my strength will stagnate, do you?" Quote. While the black sword fell, Yi Rishan suddenly flew and crashed over. Mephisto could not react, was violently knocked into the void. Yi Rishan quickly followed up with one from the sky and fell suddenly, slamming Mephisto to the ground. Boom. The ground suddenly sank, 100-meter deep pit appeared, and the entire ground sank into an extremely deep place, looking down from the sky as if an underground giant beast opened its huge mouth. Sand is flying, smoky and black sand is everywhere. Mephisto lay in pain in the deep pit and vomited blood, broke more than 10 ribs, languished, and flew out. No. How can you be so strong? Your strength has increased so much in a short period of time. Yi Rishan said with contempt. Fight quickly, let me see what else you have skills, otherwise you will really be killed. After speaking, Yi Rishan rushed up to fight him hand to hand. Mephisto's figure retreated 100,000 meters. He did not have the advantage in physical close combat. Now, he can only fight magic attacks and black long swords. Yi Rishan chased after him, forced him into hand-to-hand combat, flew faster than light to start, dodged his magic attacks and energy control, and pestered him to fight. Mephisto hurriedly parried. He can no longer bombard Yi Rishan with one punch. A punch on the body only makes him frown. He punches himself. His own chi and blood are surging. The magic attack is also consumed by his god fire, and the only overturn can only rely on the black longsword. Drink. Mephisto suddenly punched angrily. Yi Rishan quickly blocked with both hands, was repelled by the huge force for several meters, and his figure shook. Seeing this little control, enough, he quickly summoned the black long sword, held it in his hand, triumphantly. Haha, Ye Rishan, now I see how you still fight. My long sword has a deep origin, it is transformed by my scepter, and even the dark scepter, which has the effect of manipulating matter, energy, space, and unjust souls, and is extremely hard and indestructible. Ye Rishan nodded and agreed, is it powerful with my sword? Quote. Ye Rishan took out the snow-white translucent superhuman sword, placed it in the void, and let it fly by itself. Mephisto was puzzled. What kind of sword are you, don't you explain it? Ye Rishan shook his head. Dead people don't need to know so much, it's time to end. Mephisto, you are not the first to die and will not be the last. Superman's sword, kill it. Quote. Receiving Ye Rishan's will, the superhuman sword flew at an extremely fast speed, and the tip of the sword carried a strong killing intent, annihilating all specifications and slammed towards Mephisto. Mephisto hurriedly fired a dark magic attack, and multiple magic controls on the sword were useless, unable to stop the speed of the superhuman sword, and the sword body did not shake in the slightest. The sword intent of destroying, tearing, and killing slashed at Mephisto fiercely. Mephisto did not dare to fight hard, quickly teleported, the superhuman sword captured the spatial fluctuations, chased up and arrived in the blink of an eye. Mephisto couldn't help, his pupils were blinded, gritted his teeth and fought to pick up the black longsword and stab the tip of the superhuman sword, but did not hold for a second. The superhuman sword, with the forced crushing pressure of destroying the decay, destroyed the black longsword all the way to devour, and slammed through Mephisto's body, passing through the heart. Or maybe it knows that this world is not ordinary, or it receives the intention of the master Ye Rishan, hurriedly turns around to mend Mephisto's sword, chops off Mephisto's skeleton head, and sends endless blades at his body, smashing Mephisto's body. The superhuman sword levitates above Mephisto's body, quietly waiting for the corpse to be resurrected and ensuring that Mephisto has no breath, and the superhuman sword returns to Ye Rishan. Buzz. The Superman sword emitted a burst of sword sounds, and seemed to ask Ye Rishan how he was doing. And after Ye Rishan felt its emotions, he chuckled, good job. The superhuman sword was very happy after hearing this, flying around him, and then felt Ye Rishan's heart, and then became larger and wider. Ye Rishan jumped up and landed on the sword of Superman, and the Imperial sword flew towards Deadpool. Soon, coming to Deadpool's side, 1,000 doppelgangers and Hulk were there, and they simply handed over, all looking at Ye Rishan, waiting for his next instructions. Ye Rishan waved his hand and sneered. Go, let's go attack the next hell demon, Zerikos. Quote. Ye Rishan took the Hulk and Deadpool's 1,000 doppelgangers to the next level of hell. Ye Rishan quietly thought that Zerikos was a demon who tortured and devoured souls, and he had the superpower to manipulate the fire element, could launch hellfire, and could also teleport. Zerikos has the face of a dinosaur head, the head is wrapped in a large white lion king beard, the abdomen is skinny, the chest and shoulders are blue, and both waists and lower bodies are purple. This is the appearance of the devil. Zerikos. When you come to the territory of Zerikos, the sky of hell is dark blue, the earth is purple, there are heavy rocky peaks and green bubbles of poisonous water. Soon, Ye Rishan's group was surrounded by demonic beasts that resembled Mephisto's territory, and this group of monsters stood on both limbs, with dog heads and chicken bodies, which was extremely strange. There are countless strange birds in the sky and biting monsters like piranhas in the water. All of them are at the surface level, Heavenly Father level monsters. Ye Rishan spoke. Kill. The big war is about to break out, and this time Ye Rishan no longer intends to keep a low profile. The battlefield is filled with violent physical damage, the fire of God burns everything in the sky, the freezing spit freezes the piranha in the water, and the heat of the hot eye penetrates and explodes the monsters on land. I am invincible, you are at will. Hulk punched a large piece to death, suddenly jumped and fell to the ground to kill a large number of monsters, clasped hands together, Hulk attack, to kill a line of monsters, roared and shook hundreds to death, and stomped on his right foot and swept dozens of them. Invincible, invincible. Deadpool's double knives rotated rapidly, a knife a small monster, teleporting non-stop flashing within 5 meters. No monster dared to throw it with a knife up close, wearing dozens of monsters as meat skewers, but unfortunately his knife is not long enough, otherwise wearing 10,000 is not a problem. The knife is sharp and skillful. The body Ye Re Angel burst out the dragon charm, the pig charm electric eye laser, punched out, and the fistwind destroyed tens of thousands of demon-like armies, killing them all. In this way, the group crushed all the way to the depths, and finally saw the white-haired Lion King's demon, Zerachos, in the demon-like army. Yi Rishan looked at this demon. The lower body was a wolf claw beast body, a proper demon. Mephisto was still a humanoid silhouette. Zerachos said angrily, "Outsiders, you shouldn't have intruded into my territory." Yi Rishan said calmly, "Are you special and can't break in?" Zerachos. This stopped him. "This is not a special problem. This is the kind, that is, you are not powerful question. You a human broke into the demon territory. We have no wrongs and no vengeance. Shouldn't you retreat after fighting the Mephisto territory? How? You are addicted." Thinking of this, Zerachos was extremely angry. "In this case, come and fight." Yi Rishan stopped talking, looking at Zerachos as a single cosmic level, feeling that there is no need to fight. He can solve it quickly, but he has to fight a few moves, let the sword of Superman go up, and kill in an instant. Superhuman sword, you go on, I'll kill those demon-like armies. The superhuman sword led the intention, and quickly went forward to kill. Zerachos saw Yi Rishan retreat without a fight, sent a sword over, and said disdainfully, "The carving insect trick, dare to get an axe." Before the words were finished, he was sealed by the superhuman sword, split the head and heart, and then whipped the corpse, and finally quietly waited for it to come back to life, and saw that there was no reaction for a long time, and returned to Yi Rishan's side. It now has experience in killing people, once born and twice familiar, since knowing that some people are difficult to kill, such as the plot gem Deadpool. Since then the consciousness of the superhuman sword will kill the enemy like an old six waiting quietly next to it, and only after thoroughly realizing that the enemy cannot heal and resurrect itself, will he leave at ease. No one would have thought that such a mature and sophisticated mind would actually be a sword. Yi Rishan sighed. Yi Rishan just slaughtered a large group of demon-like monsters, jumped out of a demon to stop it, suspected to be a general of the demon-like army, similar to the black-hearted demon status of Mephisto's territory. Yi Rishan looked at the man with long red hair and waist in front of him, blue strong body, red eyes, this time it looked like a humanoid demon, looked a little familiar, and asked, "Who are you?" The man opened his mouth and said, "I am a black-hearted demon, I am the evil energy of Mephisto, and I came to this hell to serve my life because of my disagreement with him." Yi Rishan remembered that the black-hearted monster is one of the symbols of Mephisto's great power, and in the comics it is derived from the evil energy accumulated by Mephisto. Mephisto, with super regenerative ability, can be invisible and can also be deformed. It is also very viable, and can survive for a long time even without food or water, and can also generate black energy waves to attack. Yi Rishan nodded and said, "I know you, I don't care why you're here. Block my way, die." The black-hearted monster laughed maniacally. "Come on. Human. Two people fight against each other, boom. Exclamation mark. The black-hearted monster was burst. Yi Rishan frowned. Couldn't he see his level? A single universe level also dared to fight against himself. After Mephisto's protracted battle, the body has long been accustomed to the environment and magic of hell. Antibodies to magical dark energy substances have already been produced, and when they hit Satan, they can resist Starak hard. Thinking of this, is it idealistic ability to hide the breath of strength? Yes, it should be. Yi Rishan joins the battlefield and cleans up hell with the doppelganger. 5 minutes later. Yi Rishan frowned, it's a bit long. He shook his head. With 1,000 doppelgangers and Deadpool, the Hulk attacks, the next hell, nightmare. Leaf thinks about the message of the demon Nightmare, the ruler of the nightmare dimension in hell, and one of the fear lords, who can draw powerful energy from nightmares. There are many servants and monsters, and the mount is a horse with demon horns, Dreamwalker. In the dream world, the nightmare is almost omnipotent and invincible, but if he leaves the dream, his ability will be severely reduced. Is it invincible in the dream? Then I will not dream with you. Thinking of this, Yi Rishan used idealistic ability to strengthen a wave of spiritual ability, immune spiritual ability. It seems that Silver Superman's spiritual ability is set to be very powerful in the comics. Due to the great adaptation of the body to hell, the blood vein cells of the Silver Superman were crazy strengthened, absorbing energy all the time, and the body value rose in all aspects. It seems that the multiverse level demon, only that Starak and the Eye demon are, right. I don't remember, I'll know when I meet in a while. Soon, Yi Rishan came to the third hell territory, and when the nightmare demon saw the other party's servants and monsters, Yi Rishan was stunned and blurted out, lying groove, bullhead and horse face. Yi Rishan never thought that the demon army monster beasts under nightmare were bullheads and horse faces, the lower body was a human, and the servants were also people, but they were all walking dead zombies, unconsciously only knew to tear and bite, a bunch of heavenly fathers. Yi Rishan was speechless. How could this unknown demon be so weak, not as strong as Mephisto, and couldn't help but sigh that it was no wonder that Mephisto was so well known. It turned out that he really had two brushes. Nightmare, with black hair on his face, but there are small holes in the skin on his pale face, a green tight-fitting suit and cape, two skeletons on both sides of his chest decoration. If it were not for the small hole in his face, Yi Rishan thought he was a Green Lantern, all green. Nightmare stood up from his throne and said angrily, "Humble worm, dare to." Before he finished speaking, he was killed by the sword of Superman. This time, Yi Rishan didn't have to order it to do it himself, watching the superhuman sword next to the Nightmare corpse as the sixth old, and Yi Rishan went to kill the Nightmare's demon-like army. Same moves, same routines. Heat vision, frozen breath, dragon blast, god fire, absolute zero. The heat vision is getting stronger and stronger, the temperature is rising, and a large amount of magic is absorbed, making its temperature reach 80 million temperatures, which has exceeded the core temperature inside the sun. A moment later, the army of nightmarish demons was completely destroyed, and corpses were strewn across the field. Yi Rishan took Deadpool, and Hulk, 1,000 doppelgangers, and stepped into the next hell. Hell territory, the demon Morgan Le Fay in the comics, Morgan Le Fay, is one of Marvel's most powerful mages from the Middle Ages and is the ex-girlfriend of Fantastic Four's nemesis, Doctor Doom. Morgan has traveled to modern times many times to seek revenge on Doctor Doom, and as the supreme mage, Doctor Strange has his sights on this character. Morgan's power is not inferior to Doctor Strange's, but fortunately, she doesn't want to destroy the world. When Yi Rishan led people into Morgan's territory, she was a woman, with a pale grimace, strange hands, a crown on her head, a heavenly father. And the demons in this territory were all elves, similar to the magic elves in the Bala Little Demon Fairy in the previous life, with wings and ginseng fruit appearance. After a few breaths, he went to the next hell. Yi Rishan and walked out of Morgan's territory. This is the weakest demon he came to hell to fight. It is a shame to say it, and he thought how strong Morgan was, but it turned out to be weaker than a nightmare. Yi Rishan thought a lot while walking. In the Marvel Universe, demons are a super-dimensional being that exists in hell. Many demons were at war with gods or angels many years ago, or were themselves fallen gods or angels. Demons are mysterious beings with varying degrees of power. They feed on the souls of evil or sinful people. Demons are proficient in black magic. All demons need to bring pain to the human world. There are two theories about the origin of demons. The first seems to be related to Nemesis. At the beginning of the first Marvel Universe world, Nemesis was born. Nemesis imitated his own life form to create life, but these creations are evil. Nemesis killed these creations. Due to the loneliness of Nemesis himself ending his life, after Nemesis's death, his evil creation was resurrected, the first demons in the Marvel Universe. Nemesis's body turned into the Infinity Stones, and all the demons she created could not use the Infinity Stones, which is why Mephisto snatched Thanos' Infinity Gauntlet in the events of the Infinity Gauntlet but could not use it. According to the second demon origin, Gaia found the creator and intersected with him to give birth to Autumn, who killed most of the fallen ancient gods and banished the surviving ancient gods to other dimensions. The dark energy in the fallen ancient gods that Autumn killed formed the first demons. The Marvel Universe is already full of contradictions and bugs, so it is enough to understand the origin of demons. There is no need to be more true. Devils exist in hell, and hell here is quoted because hell is a general term, not a hell ruled by Satan, is recorded in the Bible. In fact, demons all exist in their own different extra dimensions, but they all claim that their dimension is the real hell. Dormammu's dark dimension and Starak's crimson universe are one and the same. These so-called hell dimensions are ruled by some hell lords. Mephisto is the hell lord of the hell dimension, Dormammu is the hell lord of the dark dimension, and Satan is also one of the hell lords. Just as these hell lords claim to be in charge of hell, many hell lords claim to be Satan to humans. The various hell dimensions are separated from each other and are not unified, and Satan's throne has always been vacant, and there is no hell lord to claim this identity. Because once someone claims this status, it is bound to cause a war between the hell lords. Every time the hell lords gather for a meeting to study, just like the Council of Gods in the Marvel Earth mythological system. Although Hela and Hades are in charge of the realm of death, they are both gods of death, not demons, but they are both members of the Council of Hell Lords. Between thinking, Yi Rishan came to Satan's demon territory. Yi Rishan led 1,000 doppelgangers, Deadpool and Hulk to the next hell territory, the demon. Satan has powerful mysterious energy. He can convert energy into other superpowers, such as manipulating matter, astral projection, superhuman power, projecting illusions, manipulating memories and highly defending against damage, etc. Satan's true appearance is unknown, and he can change his appearance and size at will. Satan cannot sleep, do not eat or breathe, and is immune to regular diseases. Yi Rishan came to the territory of the great demon king of Satan, and the demons did not see his army of demons and servants, monsters, and elves. He was alone. Satan has 3 bull heads and a long bull's mouth, 4 antennae on each side of the 3 heads, and green rattan extending from the nose. Satan stood up from his territorial throne, and the head in the middle spoke. You are finally here, Midgards, Yi Rishan. Satan's left head laughed and said, not bad, this strong body, brilliant vitality, terrifying growth force, bottomless strengthening, extremely high frequency and vibration cells, unknown life systems, there has never been such a Sakari body in the entire world tree, and it must taste delicious. Satan's right head was not happy and interrupted. Don't kill this man, just devour his soul. I will take this body. I have never seen such a powerful human body in this dimension and hell. Hurry. Come quickly, Midgard human, let me host you. Yi Rishan said calmly. Not bad, finally have a bit of a tough opponent. Quote. Yi Rishan looked at this Satan, the same planetary universe level combat power as himself, is an old antique. I don't know how many years have he stepped into the planetary universe level. No wonder he is so strong, so confident that he doesn't want the slaves of the demon-like army. 2. What are those demon-like armies? A group of weak chickens. Yi Rishan thinks about Satan's ability. It seems that there is no strong self-healing ability, but there are still more or less, but not much, so, I can let Deadpool fight. Deadpool's sodium carbon steel knife and the already chaotic brain are completely immune to the psychic ability. It is precisely because the brain is chaotic that Deadpool makes a mess, which is the setting of Marvel Comics' Deadpool slaughtering the Marvel Universe. Yi Rishan looked at Deadpool and said, Deadpool, you go to fight this battle, you are very restrained him. Quote. Deadpool wondered, you fought so many battles before, this battle will be your turn to fight, and then shrug your shoulders, fight and fight, little, I am not afraid of this cow and horse demon, as long as it is not those hanging up, I am invincible. Deadpool stood up, took off his mask and put it in his pocket, looked at Satan with a fierce face. 3 old guys, this battle, I will fight you. Satan's left head sneered. You dare to shout and fight us? Young man, I really don't know what to say, since I want to die so much, I will fulfill you, I want this body. Satan's head in the middle said heartily, looking at Deadpool full of joy. As soon as these words came out, Satan's left head was not happy. Wanama, Yi Rishan and Deadpool, the right head wanted to parasitize Yi Rishan, and the middle head wanted to parasitize Deadpool. What about himself? Take control of this body. Forget it, this body has long been tired. I also want to change but there is no one, more than 1,000 over there are doppelgangers. As for that green, green fat. Not bad, this body can, tall and powerful, very suitable for yourself, strong physique, bulging huge muscles, that chest muscles and hand muscles are very developed, and that leg muscles bulge shock absorption effect, not bad, very satisfied. Satan's left head saw that Deadpool pulled out his 2 knives and was ready to fight, and hurriedly stopped. Satan's left head from thinking a lot, only in an instant, he said to Yi Rishan, slowly. Everyone was puzzled, including Satan's other 2 heads. What do you want? Satan's left head felt that Yi Rishan was the leading big brother, so he looked at Yi Rishan and spoke. After winning the battle, I will parasitize the body of that green fat man. Hearing this, Yi Rishan and Deadpool looked at Hulk. Hulk heard someone call himself, actually wanted his own body, so what should he do? The head is not very bright, but it always feels like a bad thing. Roaring. Someone dares to provoke themselves and eat their own bodies, Hulk is angry. Seeing this, Yi Rishan felt that this was the time. The Hulk was stuck in the single universe level for a long time, and he couldn't keep up with his combat power, and he wasn't sure whether to go to the Crimson Universe. If he went, the Hulk's combat power was not enough to see. The priority was to improve his strength, and immediately said, "Good dog, you are also on." When Hulk heard this, he was very excited and rushed out immediately. Deadpool watched the Hulk rush out and said to Yi Rishan, "Then do I still want to fight?" Yi Rishan nodded calmly. "You also go, he can't beat Satan, it's best if you can kill Satan, it doesn't matter if you kill or not, you attract firepower next to you, I want Satan to inspire the Hulk, it's time for the Hulk to advance to the Green Hulk." Deadpool nodded. "I see." After saying that, he accelerated and ran over, teleporting the belt to press. Satan seeing this, he greeted a punch and punched out a big hole in Hulk's chest. Hulk flew out for thousands of meters. Satan's left head saw that Hulk was beaten away, frowned. "Don't kill him. Otherwise how can I parasitize?" Ideographic period. Satan's right head comforted. "It's okay, boss, we have a sense of proportion, and that green doll also has a strong self-healing ability, you fancy a good body." Satan's head in the middle also comforted. "The third is right, boss, the green doll you fancy has nothing to do, if you are not satisfied with me to change with you." The eldest, that is, the head on the left side of Satan, was not happy when he heard the words of the second head in the middle. "No, no, I won't change, the man in the red and black uniform you fancy doesn't look very strong, I don't change, you have to change with the third man, he fancy the strongest leader among them, Yi Rishan." Quote. Old 3, Satan's right head is not satisfied. "No, no, no, I will first look at Yi Rishan, you can't rob me." The head in the middle was slightly angry. "Shut up, third man, what do you imagine me to be? I won't rob you guys, okay, so be it. That person came up. Let's start fighting. Deal with this man in red and black uniforms a little harder, I want to see his strength." The eldest and the third said together, "Okay." The second, Satan, instantly greeted him and punched him. Seeing this, Deadpool teleported away, and with one sword, cut off their left head. The head fell off, and the second and third elders were frightened and shouted in panic, "Boss, what's wrong with you?" However, their bodies did not grow the boss's head. Deadpool was dumbfounded, and Yi Rishan was also dumbfounded. Lying groove, don't they have the ability to heal themselves? Only in the next second, Satan himself opened his mouth to explain. The second Satan, looking at Deadpool's incredulous face, said, "Who told you that our weakness is the head?" The third man was also incredulous. "What kind of weapon are you? Why can we cut our tough skin?" Quote. Yi Rishan and Deadpool were dumbfounded. What is this? Self-exposing weaknesses. No, Yi Rishan couldn't help it, and laughed. Deadpool too. On the other side, Hulk is also healing himself quickly, and soon got up. Rushed towards this side. The second Satanist saw that the two of them were smiling very happily, and did not understand why, and said angrily, "What are you laughing at? What's so funny? Let's say who told you about our weaknesses." Deadpool couldn't help but smile. Spoke, "So your weakness is your head. So that's the case, don't you have the ability to heal yourself?" The third head on Satan's right was angry. "It's all to blame you, the second old, they don't know our weaknesses, and now it's all shaken by you." Satan. Laor looked aggrieved. "How do I know that they don't know our weakness? He came up and killed the boss with a knife. Usually others fight with us or beating our bodies and legs and hands. He is good, directly hit our head, hit other places we have self-healing ability, not afraid, but the head has no self." Quote. Shut up, the second old, if you can't speak, don't say it, talk more when you can talk, now shut up. All our weaknesses have been exposed, the boss died unjustly. Quote. The third old man saw that the second old man was still exposing his weakness, and his anger was full of anger. I feel that the pig teammates can't move for the stupidity of the second eldest and feel even more sad about the death of the eldest. No, no, I can't laugh anymore. Little, you don't want to laugh me to death so that I can inherit my carbon steel knife, right? I'm telling you this, it's not okay, hee hee. Quote. Haha, no, I can't help it, laugh at me. Deadpool and Yi Rishan laughed next to them and straightened their waist. How could there be such a strange hell demon? Hulk healed and rushed over again. He didn't understand why his master and friend Deadpool were laughing, but it didn't stop him from continuing to attack and fight Satan. Satan looked at Deadpool and Yi Rishan laughing at himself, and was furious. Things, it's all you. It's all the two of you. The eldest dies, the second old. Avenge the boss, cheer up. The second elder nodded. He didn't say anything this time. He also knew that it was his own reason. Seeing that Hulk ran over and was beaten again, the old 2 and 3 were extremely angry, and they spilled all their chi on Hulk, and immediately bombarded Hulk thousands of meters away with a punch. This time flying farther, Hulk was pushed in the air by a huge force, fell to the ground and rolled violently hundreds of meters away. The friction all the way to smash the body of the serious injury pain stimulated Hulk's nerves. The angry Hulk spoke. Hulk is very angry. Roar. After speaking, Hulk's eyes emitted green light projection. In the air like a real energy catharsis, Hulk roared. The figure suddenly soared. 1 meter long, 5 meters too tall Hulk. Green Hulk appeared. Can jump between planets. The power can lift Jupiter. Hands together to strike can release the terrorist explosion. Gamma energy. Super self-healing ability. Indestructible skin. Hulk. Monolithic cosmic level advanced to planetary cosmic level. Roar. The roar can be heard thousands of meters away from the Hulk, which shows how angry the Hulk is. Yi Rishan and Deadpool heard Hulk's roar, stopped laughing, looked at each other. The purpose had been achieved, silently mourned for Satan in their hearts, and the two retreated in tacit agreement to give way out of the battlefield. Although the Hulk has just advanced to the planetary universe level, this is the Green Hulk, and the angrier the stronger the setting. In theory, the Hulk is also idealistic, and its power comes from Oba, the opposite of OAA, and Hulk is also a member of the top hang-up according to some rules. Satan heard the Hulk's roar, which could be heard thousands of meters away, and I don't know why there was a sudden throbbing of fear. When they saw that Yi Rishan and Deadpool also heard the Hulk's roar and stopped laughing, the two of them each withdrew from the battlefield at the same time, and they were more sure that the old 3 Satan felt that something bad was about to happen. The second Satanist spoke. Are they afraid? Why didn't you fight all of a sudden? Satan shook his head and said. Second brother, you have to learn to think. Think. Thinking about what? The green fat man screamed, and they withdrew. They must have been scared by us. Quote. Shut up. Are you a pig brain? That green doll must not be ordinary. That terrifying and superb self-healing ability, not dead after being attacked by us twice, and the double knife of the man in red and black uniform is extremely weird, plus the last mysterious human Yi Rishan, has not made a move. Things are very tricky, do you know? None of them died, not injured, but our boss died. So what are we going to do, escape? When Satan saw the stupid picture of the second man, he felt helpless, and his heart cried bitterly. Roar. Hulk jumped, from thousands of meters away, came to Satan. Satan the second old man felt the Hulk's green form majestic, green tendons burst with handsome lines of horror, explosive magnificent posture, arms and legs bulging extremely unscientific power, the muscles behind are also coiled like a dragon, eyes are green and full of anger, tall and powerful 5'2" posture, enough to level with them, and even stabilize one head. Roar. Hulk's eyes were full of fierce and raging anger, terrifying gaze, and the feeling of being targeted by a terrible monster was intimidating, and his roar was even more terrifying. Filled with fear, Deadpool couldn't help frowning when he saw it, avoiding its edge, secret way. It's not good to fight now. Deadpool hit Hulk with no confidence to fight. The fight is beaten, but it is estimated to be 5 or 5. You must know that he is a multiverse level combat power. The Hulk is only a planetary universe level. Thinking of this, Deadpool's complaining eyes looking at Yi Rishan and Hulk hit him 5 or 5, hit Yi Rishan 82 open, Yi Rishan 8, himself 2. Roar. The Hulk roared at Satan and rushed forward for the third time, and Satan once again punched as always. Boom. History will not repeat itself. Satan punched the Hulk. The Hulk did not move. The punch was like hitting cotton, Like a mud cow into the sea, like a stream flowing into the sea, without setting off a trace of ups and downs. Roaring. Hulk roared, venting the anger of this bug who hit himself twice before, his hands raised, his fists clenched, and hit Satan's head left and right. Satan was terrified and wanted to teleport away, but how could the Hulk do what he wanted? If Satan just used psychic abilities or something else from the beginning, he could still cause some small trouble for the Hulk. You can shoot the Hulk several times, and the Hulk only needs to shoot you off once, you have to die. Hulk's fist slammed fiercely, Satan's two heads suddenly exploded, bright red blood flew all over the sky, limbs fell limply, blood splashed on Hulk's body, was damaged and dirty, and wore off. Hulk was not happy at all when he saw Satan's head being blown up by himself. He needed to vent, picked up Satan's headless body, raised it high, suddenly tore it with force, tore Satan's body in half, threw it out like garbage, and roared loudly. A terrifying sonic roar came out of Hulk's mouth, like a desolate beast to scare off 100 beasts. Even if the tiger, the king of 100 beasts, is now here, I am afraid that he will have to look at the Hulk with fear. Roar. Deadpool was restless and heavy. It's worthy of being forced. You two are advancing so fast. You will soon catch up with me, I am still in place. Yi Rishan was desolate, and said calmly, don't worry, when the time comes, I will help you collect the fragments of the power of the Phoenix and let you step into the almighty universe level. If it's not enough, I'll help you think of other ways. When Deadpool heard this, he nodded and did not speak again. He believed that Yi Rishan would not lie to himself. His own appearance was a full level, and if he wanted to break the limit, he could only rely on him. Yi Rishan quietly thought about the matter of the power of the Phoenix. There are too many comic version series of the power of the Phoenix, there are many comic events. In Marvel, the power of the Phoenix has never shown the full power of the Phoenix. The power of the Phoenix is one of the most powerful entities in the universe, but not the only one. The power of the Phoenix can exist alone or possess the host. Although the power of the Phoenix has possessed many superheroes or villains in the manga, the host who can best exert the strength of the power of the Phoenix is Kodo. Gray and Hope are two people. In Marvel Comics X-Men, Elegy for the Phoenix, the power of the Phoenix descended on Earth, but it scattered countless Phoenix fragments to many superheroes. In particular, the dead Chin was revived by the power of the Phoenix, and eventually the piano stepped on the fragments that conquered all the power of the Phoenix, and finally fused them, causing the Chin to become the king of the White Phoenix. And the White Phoenix King Chin in this form is a fragment that gathers all the Phoenix power, which can barely be said to be a complete Phoenix power Chin. In this form, her strength has already reached the all-powerful universe level, and it is even a little stronger than the chaos magic at the peak of the Scarlet Witch. The power of the Phoenix is a cosmic energy, one of the most powerful entities in the universe, but not the strongest only entity. In the comics, the power of the Phoenix was swallowed by the ancient demon god Seth. Here is not to show that Seth's strength is stronger than the power of the Phoenix, but to say that although the power of the Phoenix is strong, it is not as strong as the heart of the universe to the point of no counteraction. Phoenix power usually chooses a creature as a host. Many superheroes on the Earth, especially mutants, have been the host of Phoenix power. In the Marvel event, Avengers vs. X-Men, Iron Man used anti-Phoenix armor to split the Phoenix power into five Phoenix power attached to the laser eye, White Queen, Steel Lux, Secret Guest and Namomo. The five became the Phoenix Five Apostles, and finally defeated the five apostles under the joint efforts of the Avengers and the X-Men, and Hope and Wanda sent the Phoenix power away. The five apostles were defeated by many superheroes, and the comparison of abilities could not be seen, and in the subsequent Marvel event, Secret War, Laser Eye alone got the power of the Phoenix, but was killed by the god King Dum, who has the power beyond the Protoss. Of all the hosts of the Phoenix Force, there is only Jean Grey and Hope can exert the strongest strength of the Phoenix power, but it is not the complete Phoenix power. Violin. Grey's strongest state is White Phoenix Chin. Grey is able to cut off the timeline of the universe and reshape the timeline. In the comic strip, The New X-Men, thanks to Jean Grey's death causes the beasts to rule the planet autocratically and eliminate all opposition. The last resurrected White Phoenix Chin Grey cuts off the timeline of this universe and reshapes it, and the world returns to normal. White Phoenix rebooted the Marvel Universe, reshaping the universe as far more powerful than destroying the universe, but what surprised people was the previous White Phoenix Chin. Gray's cause of death. White Phoenix Chin. Gray was killed by Magneto with a planetary-scale electromagnetic pulse. You read that right, a person with the ability to reshape the universe was killed by planet-level forces. That is to say, the strongest Phoenix power host can be killed with planet-level abilities, which is completely due to plot killing, and cannot be included in the history, otherwise the combat power will collapse. Movie universe Ji Yi died among her two disciples, who dares to say that she is weak. According to this understanding, Natasha can kill Ji Yi in seconds, and kill Ji Yi close with body and position. Her scalp was numb when the snakeskin was out of position. Therefore, the death of White Phoenix from Magneto's planet-level power is absurd, and Yi Rishan does not dare to agree. White Phoenix completely died from plot killing, and this history cannot be deduced at all. To sum up, the complete Phoenix power has never appeared, and the complete version of the Phoenix power has not appeared in Marvel Comics so far. It appears in the form of fragments in the comics, and how much energy the full version of the Phoenix power exists may still be unknown. The power of the Phoenix is one of the oldest abilities of Marvel Comics, along with the power of chaos and the power of goblins. As long as they cultivate to the peak, they all have the strength of the almighty universe level, and they can even beat the life court. Stopping his thoughts, Yi Rishan stopped thinking so much and went to the next hell, Lucifer. The Lord of Hell, the dark prince of the demon Lucifer. A demon king who mostly appears in the Ghost Rider comics, is the leader of the fallen angels, has his own hell, once dragged the evil spirit knight Johnny into his own hell, in order to deal with Rand-Dekil and released Johnny. Its own strength is unknown, but half of the power was killed by an ordinary evil spirit knight. It seems that it is not very strong. He wears a long masked headscarf on his head, his wrists and legs are all purple in color, his chest, abdomen, thighs, hind legs, muscles, arms, hands, arms are red, and his dress is very unique. The popularity is not very high. Yi Rishan is too lazy to go, directly let the superhuman sword escape into the depths of hell alone, and kill with a sword. It's really insulting Lucifer's name. How powerful Lucifer in DC is. On the contrary, Marvel this tarnishes the name. Towards the next Hell Lord, the demon Satanish is a demon lord born with Mephisto, and like Mephisto, he is also a higher Hell Lord. Satanish is the archenemy of heroes such as Doctor Strange. He also serves Dormammu, and helps Dormammu defeat Mephisto together in Dormammu's colonization plan and occupy his hell, but their plan is discovered by Hellstorm and Helkin, who summons other Hell Lords to defeat Dormammu along with the rulers of the underworld, and as Dormammu escapes, Satanish is shattered by a magic ray from Mephisto. Of course, as a powerful Hell Lord, Satanish was resurrected in later comics. Now that the main universe has changed greatly, many things are confusing. Feel tricky. Yi Rishan's eyes were calm, and he was another demon with no name, allowing the sword of Superman to kill and go to the next hell. Yi Rishan thought, it seems that the spirit of vengeance has another version of the story. It is related to a man named Zatanos the demon. The demon Zatanos is a demon elemental lord who was active on Earth 20,000 years ago, and then Zatanos was sealed by the spirit of vengeance of the messenger of the gods. It wasn't until 2,000 years ago that it was summoned by a certain tribe to lift the seal. Zatanos sucks human souls, which coincides with Marvel's most famous demon, Mephisto. Mephisto therefore regarded Zatanos as a potential rival, and eventually Mephisto designed to defeat Zatanos, erase his memory, and enslave his soul. The reason why the Ghost Knights have very great power is because Mephisto attached the soul of Zatanos to them. Yi Rishan sighed. There are too many versions of the spirit of vengeance, but he still firmly believes in the God version. After all, that is not only a big force, but also a widely circulated seething version. Everyone agrees with this. Next, Yi Rishan took 1,000 doppelgangers, and Deadpool, plus Hulk, and killed several spicy chicken demons. Among them, he also met the mother of Doctor Strange's girlfriend, that is, his mother-in-law demon, who appeared in the movie and killed everything together, and the woman in the comics has a strong background, is Dormammu's own sister. The Lord of Hell, the demon Marduk. Marduk is a high-ranking Hell Lord, whose origins are still unknown, and he is also one of the most popular demons in Marvel to use the name of Satan. Marduk is primarily an enemy of the Defenders, and otherwise rarely appears, but his strength remains unfathomable. Lord of Hell, Demon Despair. Kills with one sword, the next. Hell Lord, Demon. Dweller in Darkness, the last generation of universe destroyers. Without him there would be no current Marvel universe, nor the current 5 gods. Dweller in Darkness is an extra-dimensional demon. When the previous generation of universes existed, he stole the crystals that maintained the existence of the universe and fought against the power of the Phoenix. This battle almost destroyed that universe. This led to the Big Bang caused by the Court of Life, creating the present universe. The Sword of Superman, slaughtered. Yi Rishan felt speechless. Could he fight? Lord of Hell, Demon Nightmare. Was previously only Shuma's subordinate, but later escaped to the dimension of dreams and has since become the master of dreams, drawing energy and nourishment from the fearful emotions of creatures. He has fought many superheroes, including Ghost Rider, Doctor Strange, Hulk, etc. Nightmare has imprisoned Eternity, but there are also many defeats. Maybe the strength of Nightmare is not very strong among the Demon Kings, but he is still a terrible demon. As long as there are dreams and imaginations in the universe, he will exist forever. What is there to say? A sword slaughtered. Yi Rishan yawned and continued to move forward. Deadpool is also boring, and the Hulk's temper is even more consumed. Please, is there one who can fight? There are many demons in Marvel Hell, and there are only a few famous ones, and the results are all unknown demons. Yi Rishan continued to move on to the next hell and saw the demon Shuma Gorath Peas. Devils are English names, not that I deliberately typed English. Shuma Gorath is the ruler of the extra dimension and the leader of the old Dominator in Marvel. He is one of Doctor Strange's great enemies. Shuma Gorath's strength is unfathomable. He has devoured hundreds of universes before invading the main universe 616, and only the appearance of the creation god Genesis sealed him. Even if he can't devour 616, he will keep trying. The power of Shuma, even the powerful magical entity Vishanti, did not dare to face it head-on. So don't be deceived by his cute big eyes, he is definitely a terrible monster. Yi Rishan looks at this demon as an ectothermic animal, snake, with a snake head. The back of the head is full of hedgehog-like barbs surrounding the head, very scary and weird. Well, planetary cosmic level, Hulk Yuan. Yi Rishan said lightly. Good dog, it's time for you to perform. Roar. Hulk held a fire in his body, saw this strange snake, and rushed over. The monster snake demon spewed sharp barbs at the Hulk. The Hulk roared, the barbs did not even shoot through the Hulk's skin, and was picked up by the Hulk and violently torn, and finally pinched to pieces. The demon died. Yi Rishan was speechless. It would be boring to fight like this again. Keep walking, and expect surprises ahead. 1,000 doppelgangers, Deadpool, Hulk to follow. After walking for a long time, there was not a single demon. So sensing the nearby dimensional hell, he used the space gem to open the space wormhole crack, walked in, and Deadpool Hulk followed closely behind. As soon as Yi Rishan landed, he saw that the sky was a colorful and strange black, colorful and dark black, much like the sky color of the Dormammu dimension. Just when Yi Rishan thought that he had come to the Dormammu dimension, a huge demon appeared in front of him. Yi Rishan froze, he knew who it was. With solemn eyes, he said to Deadpool and Hulk, "Be careful, this demon is powerful, he is stronger than any demon we have encountered. Be firm and don't look it in the eye unless you can block its mental attack." When Deadpool heard this, his body became serious, looking at the demon in front of him. His appearance was strange and extremely terrifying. Deadpool instinctively reacted with a little fear. Hulk was still like that, brainless roared. Roar. Hulk's origin is high, it is normal that he did not put this eye demon in his eyes. Of course, it is not ruled out that he has no brains. This demon name is called the Eye Demon, from the extraterritorial evil dimension, inconceivable to pronounce its name, second only to the demon under the creation god. The strength is strange, can control anyone's mind, is the top strong among all demons. Eye Demon's real name, Shuma Grace, Marvel's confirmed Cthulhu Mythos villain boss Eye Demon is just an alias based on its huge one-eyed plus multiple tentacles appearance, and Shuma Glass is its real name. In a Marvel universe, it has quite remarkable deeds and achievements. In the Jurassic era, it dominated the Earth. It was it that led to the death of the ancient mage. It also led to the death of Doctor Strange. It created the disciples that brought crisis to the X-Men. And it visited many world lines. It has repeatedly fought with superheroes such as the Avengers. Yi Rishan felt a little tricky thinking about the historical record of Demon Shuma. This pair was the strongest demon he had encountered so far. Multiverse level, I Demon Shuma. Ability, extract energy and magic from others, can also generate magic power on its own, and can travel through time and space. It has destroyed countless Hell Lords, and it is the Lord of Chaos. Its status is much higher than that of Satan and Starak. This is definitely a top-level boss level. Hulk rushed up, punched over, and was instantly entangled by the tentacles of the Eye Demon, unable to move. Yi Rishan's eyes became silent and dark. This time, if you don't want to die, you will be stimulated to destroy the Sun ability, otherwise you can't kill this thing. Deadpool also carried 2 knives, teleported and chopped. The Eye Demon could not react, and was cut off a tentacle by Deadpool. The tentacles are healing themselves at a slow pace. Yi Rishan looked at this scene, and it was immediately clear that Deadpool is also multiverse level, but Yi Rishan is not good at estimating. Deadpool does not know if he can beat the Eye Demon. Once entangled, it will be over. Deadpool can theoretically exert all-round cosmic-level combat power, but that is unstable. You can't pin your hopes on him, you have to rely on yourself. Yi Rishan took a deep breath. The Eye Demon's self-healing speed was slow. Did Deadpool's double knife work or did it not heal itself? Maybe you can start from this aspect. Yi Rishan pondered carefully. Deadpool saw the tentacles coming towards him and immediately cut off another one. Seeing this, the Eye Demon immediately cast 5 or 6 tentacles to attack. Deadpool quickly dodged teleportation. Running at this time is useless, you can only rely on teleportation. If you want to run, you can't run unless you have flash speed. Yi Rishan watched Deadpool dodge the tentacles, thoughtfully. In the anime, this kind of tentacles are the easiest to solve. Cats and mice in Mice Walk the Cat, let the cat be entangled in its own tail. There is also the adventures of the little carp. The Rai-Pai snake is numb by the scalp of the bubble with the body move, and finally the Rai-Pai snake is entangled in its own tail. The Eye Demon has more tentacles, theoretically fast enough. Let it attack itself, let its tentacles not entangle itself, and then limit itself, so that the combat power is reduced by half. Thinking of this, Yi Rishan felt that it was feasible, this method really worked, and said to Deadpool, Deadpool, we have been teleporting, running around its eyes, let its own tentacles surround itself, entangle itself fiercely. As long as it restricts its tentacles, its combat power is lost by half. We can both be immune to its psychic ability spiritual attack. We just need to dodge, don't want to fight back. It's really too late to teleport to cut off another tentacle. We are not afraid of its tentacle length, I'm afraid it doesn't have enough tentacles, understand? Deadpool said without looking back. Okay, just teleport, you go southeast, I go northwest. Yi Rishan nodded. Okay. You get the Hulk out first, let it aside, and we both fight. Deadpool heard this, nodded, and slashed towards the tentacle vine where Hulk was trapped. Deadpool's carbon steel knife was still so invincible, and everything was chopped. The Eye Demon is strong, but it is not a member of the hanging, and the strong has to look at the hanging. Hulk was rescued, jumped on the ground, and was about to step forward, received Yi Rishan's will, helpless. The master passed the message, the good dog could only go to obey. Hulk retreated to the side to watch the master and Deadpool fighting Wits and Shuma. The Eye Demon can't speak. Shuma is his name when he was a human. He has long been eroded by the demon, monopolizes his body, and turns into a deformed creature Eye Demon, so it has no intelligence and can't understand Yi Rishan's communication with Deadpool. Then the two began to wrap around Shuma, surrounding Shuma's eyes. Dozens of tentacles of the Eye Demon reached out to the two, and Deadpool and Yi Rishan each shared dozens of them. 5 minutes later, Yi Rishan and Deadpool looked at the Eye Demon entangled in their tentacles, revealing only a trace of their eyes, and they knew that it was done. Immediately stopped. Yi Rishan was also looking forward to the Eye Demon, and he could also surprise himself. Whether it was to break the tentacles or use other abilities, its other abilities seemed to be of little use to himself and Deadpool. After waiting for a while, Yi Rishan nodded at Deadpool, and Deadpool understood and picked up the double knife. Wait. Deadpool, seeing this, Yi Rishan stopped Deadpool. Deadpool puzzled. Yi Rishan looked at the strange demon in front of him, very cautious. Facing Deadpool, he said, "Let me come, my superhuman sword is no worse than yours. This demon is a demon outside the dimension, is a deformed, weird, indescribable weird demon god. This thing is very weird, kill it closely, and then be afraid that something flying out of its body will erode you and me, it will not be good." Deadpool nodded, hearing that he was thinking about his own good, and agreed. Yi Rishan sacrificed the superhuman sword, and the superhuman sword heart comprehended the divine meaning. Quickly slashing forward, a sword pierced the huge eyeball of the eye demon, and the eyeball instantly exploded, splashing out strange green blood, containing poison. Yi Rishan and Deadpool saw venom flying and hurriedly dodged, but it was too late, and they were still tainted some. The Hulk is no more. The bodies of the two instantly turned into green water, corroded and died. This speed, this weird, this indescribable thing, instantly killed Yi Rishan and Deadpool. Fortunately, the three are not ordinary people, and Deadpool is immediately resurrected in place. Yi Rishan was also resurrected again because of the power of the dog spell. Yi Rishan and Deadpool's faces were very gloomy. This thing was too weird, even the two of them didn't have time to dodge. Deadpool said with a heavy heart, "It's good that you told me in advance, otherwise if I get too much contamination close up, I'm really not sure if this thing will kill me, and I will really die." Yi Rishan didn't speak. It was a tacit acquiescence to Deadpool's words, because he wasn't sure that this thing was too weird. Because as far as he knew, this strange, indescribable thing was an eye demon, and other demon ancient gods were not as weird as it. The eye demon Shuma is very mysterious in the Marvel setting, which is set to be unkillable and can only be sealed or banished when encountered. Now the main universe has undergone great changes, everything has become extremely strange and mysterious, and his prophets and foresights have no advantage, which makes Yi Rishan very distressed. Yi Rishan looked at the superhuman sword. The superhuman sword was intact, his strength was still too low. If his strength was also at the same multiverse level as the eye demon, he would definitely not die just now. When Deadpool first appeared, he suppressed some of the Doomsday abilities. Thinking of this, Yi Rishan decisively no longer suppressed the Doomsday ability. The Doomsday ability does not need to be killed to stimulate evolution and counter the ability to restrain the opponent, but in the battle, the injured will independently counter-evolve the ability to counter the opponent, produce antibodies. The same attack cannot kill Doomsday twice. I haven't used Doomsday evolution to restrain my opponent's ability for a long time, and now I no longer suppress it. This is the original Ancient Day of Destruction ability, which can be called incomprehensible. Each injury will make the cells tougher and stronger, and the steel body will be strengthened without limit. On the other side, after the Hulk was eroded by the blood of the eye demon, the skin ulcerated and corroded into a skeleton, which stimulated some hidden power in the Hulk's body. The fierce and violent Hulk quickly healed himself, his height suddenly increased from 5 meters 2 to 5 meters 5, and the green form suddenly strengthened again. Yi Rishan completely became the height of a primary school student in his eyes. Yi Rishan looked at Deadpool and said, "Let's go to the last devil, and go back to New York after this fight." When Deadpool heard this, he nodded. The appearance of the eye demon made him feel particularly dignified and unable to giggle. He didn't know how many such weird demons would appear in the future. Yi Rishan looked at Deadpool and knew what he was worried about, took out the sherry in the storage room and handed it to him and said, "Don't think so much, the eye demon Shuma kind of weird, indescribable conceptual demon god Marvel is just him. There will be no in the future, although the main universe is flooded with a large number of comic book weird events, but the eye demon is so mysterious and weird, there are actually not many in Marvel. Speaking of which, compared to the demon, it should be called the demon god is a little more appropriate, because it is a level higher than the demon. This thing, even if Sithos and Setha see it, they have to be afraid of 3 points." Deadpool took the sherry wine, listening to Yi Rishan's words, finally let go of the hanging heart, twisted the cap of the bottle and drank. "Okay, I believe what you said. No matter what, this thing still gave me a profound impact. This should be the strongest demon god I've ever met." Deadpool took a sip of sherry and said with a wry smile. Yi Rishan patted him on the shoulder and didn't say anything. Yi Rishan glanced at the corpse of the eye demon before leaving. I don't know if it was an illusion. He always felt that things were not so simple, the eye demon was so dead. The Hulk followed, along with 1,000 doppelgangers. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and support our channel.